seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Puck!
Dire team pick.
Earth Shaker.
Radiant
What?
team pick.
Earth Spirit.
Ten seconds remaining.
You see Milan's got
5
yesterday?
seconds remaining.
You going? Come back.
Dire team ban.
Shout out to the people.
Master.
Lost his hat. Draft.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Radiant team ban.
Took Alvaro 5 minutes to. Here we are. Ready?
You're a piece of shit. Hello and welcome to the to the Eastern European DPC League, specifically the lower division, created by ESL and launched by Intel. Powered by Intel.
Powered by Intel, yeah. Indeed.
Much like our car.
Much like our car, we do have...
This guy almost ran us.
It's
What is
fine.
this
He's
madness?
getting close. You got to be efficient in city traffic, dude. We do have ourselves a match now, match number 2 between Bait and Gambit Esports. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Free content here for you guys on the stream. Love having you guys here. Just a quick announcement, because some people are going to be a little bit confused. AS Monaco recently announced an investment into the esports scene. I wasn't going to call you out, but there's a lot of chatters that were confused. Well,
I'm confused.
Which is fair. You're covering a lot of regions. You can't keep up with every single one like these fine details. Live to Win's roster has been signed in the upper division. Those guys are now known as Gambit Esports. The team formerly known as Gambit Esports
Well, they also swapped one of the players.
are now known as Gambit 2. Gambit 2 is what we're going to be casting here today. This is not a joke, by the way. I don't know why you're laughing. It's called Gambit 2. Listen, this match is guaranteed to be a 10 out of 10 because we got Bait and Gambit 2. Let's get right into it. We got a draft.
Can we please not call him Gambit 2? just call him Gambit.
No, we have to because only the main roster is called AS Monaco.
Yeah,
ASM.
I'm just gonna call him Gambit.
No, but it's ASM Gambit, right? Because I believe it's only the upper division team,
Yeah, but I
formerly
don't-
known as Live to Win, is now
Yes.
ASM
With one change though.
Gambit with one change.
Yeah, but like I still want to call.
And this is Gambit too.
Yeah, but I don't want to call him Gambit too. It's almost disrespectful.
That's what I'm sorry. That's what the team name is called.
Like what team? What team are you on? I'm on Gambit too. Like,
Listen, do you want to call him Gambit Esports Prodigy?
yeah,
Is that better?
Yeah, Prodigy's
Hey,
better.
I get it.
Gambit potential, Gambit the new class, Gambit the blood up flowing, Gambit almost there.
You know what they should call it? They should just go full chest pun and just call it like King's Gambit or Queen's Gambit or something like that. Queen's Gambit's a TV show. Netflix will probably sue you, but I like that one instead. I mean, I get what you're saying.
I'll take anything that's not Gambit. Gambit the second generation, Gambit the new blood, Gambit reborn, Gambit awakens.
What about like Gambit 2?
10 remaining.
Gambit 2.
No, stop with the 2, because 2 directly puts you above 1.
Well, you know what's crazy
Also,
here?
it's AS Monaco Gambit, right, for the #1 team.
ASM Gambit. Yeah.
ASM Gambit, right? And then the second team is just Gambit 2. They're not even ASM, they're just Gambit 2.
That's correct.
It's like you made a pub stack, and you're like, guys, we're Gambit 2, boys. Gambit Seed? Gambit Youth? There's so many options. Also, these guys are also veterans, so it feels like Gambit 2. Anyway, I don't
Listen,
like that. Gambit, change your stuff.
I don't disagree with you here. I love how invested you are into it. It looks like they have a stand-in, by the way. Let me see if I can figure out who that is.
Oh, yeah, it's true. They have not told us it was.
No,
I checked this before.
we don't know quite yet, unfortunately.
Usually they do tell us these things. Not today.
Yep, that's okay. We'll
Also, his name is Simposter.
we'll figure out who that is. Simposter here for Gambit 2.
So.
Oh no,
who
they
is
picked
he?
Edge.
He's replacing their.
Sonny,
No,
Excess
sorry.
Vampire, Lornoff, Blizzy. They are
he's replacing
missing-
Pubber.
Yeah, Pubber. They frequently have had a couple of stand-ins actually for this roster, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's been mostly Pubber, who's also a stand-in.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure. Same hero. Could just be Pubber, by the way. They didn't tell us any.
5
For Bait, they have the
seconds
traditional
remaining.
roster. It's a very Gambit draft, right? Pucks for Lornoff. We have the Excess Vampire Earthspirit, really good.
Yep.
And then the very typical Pubber Crystal Maiden. That's my favorite hero. And then Bait picks up the enchant. Guys.
That's what I was waiting. I wanted you to recognize it on there. And sometimes Avo, he does this thing where he'll go, yes, the Enchantress. Anyway, let's talk about the other draft. Oh my God, they picked an Enchantress. And that's kind of what happened.
Well, because like I like that Bait is bringing in the South American, North American picks, or the American picks in general.
Yeah, they're
to
blending the
European
style
region.
here. Of course, these guys formerly being
Dire
Midas
team,
Club.
Dire-
Exactly. But now don't bring this one. Don't bring this pick. Please leave it there. It's awful. It really only works in specific lineups where you have something
Yes.
and you really need a strong
Like
lane.
in the lane, specifically.
Well, in the lane, ideally, but hell, if it's like an Ursa, if you're up against an Ursa, I can kind of justify it, because you dispel overpower later on in the mid game. It's very powerful.
Okay.
If you're up against an Ember, kind of okay.
Okay, well, I mean, why not just pick a Shadow Demon instead, though?
No, I know, I agree. I mean, I hate this hero. I just try to
that's,
justify.
but that's what I mean. I think like if you need a dispel in the lane, this hero's great.
I don't know if you saw yesterday that PPD was making fun of Chen picks.
He was, yeah,
right?
and
And then
then
No-Tail slammed him to the floor.
No-Tail clapped back as
Yeah,
well.
really destroyed him. But what was funny to me was like, guy, in PPD, I know that you're like not the biggest fan of Chen. He's not the best hero this. But you guys are still picking Enchantress. You have no leg to stand on. Like your whole league is burning on this hero. Why? Why pick it? It does nothing past laning phase. His spell is no longer useful. It is one of the weakest heroes against Puck.
I casted a game, and then we'll get real into this draft here. I casted a game yesterday in a different tournament where it was Hellbear Smashers, which are playing pretty well in the lower division. Actually, lost to Brame, shockingly.
2-0 as well.
Shocking loss to Brame. And I love Brame, but I casted Brame before that match, and they looked real bad.
Also, they just got 2-0'd by Creep Wave.
It was
2-0'd.
It didn't make any sense.
Which Hellbear Smashers
It
2-0'd.
didn't make any sense. It was like a Dota love triangle. Anyway, this is Eastern Europe, but I casted this game, and Hellbear Smashers, they love to go with this draft where they run Ace Ember, Stormstormer, Invoker. He's like a 10k
Yeah.
Invoker kid, right? He's amazing.
Team back.
And then they run the Mirana in the safe lane. And all they did all game against the Ench was they didn't even need the arrow into the Searing Chains. They would just Searing Chains, walk away from the Enchantress, and Ench would just go, oh no, there's a Sunstrike coming for me.
Right?
It was so sad.
And I mean, even this game, I don't really see. The only justification I see for
Remaining.
is that since they always play hard carry RDO, the Enchantress is one of the better heroes. So that's a thing. But Gambit accomplishes the same thing and more with the Crystal Maiden, right? In addition, it also counters your Enchantress. Like, it's also your third pick, mate. When your second phase, or sorry, when your last pick, your third pick is so valuable because it's usually a block pick. What are you blocking with this? Please don't.
I mean, genuinely, you block the Darkseer, right? That's all the Enchantress does. She blocks the Darkseer. That's all she does. Maybe an E, but I think Enchantress as position 4 is so bad that you're just going to lose the game, even if you are against the
I mean,
ET.
maybe you play as position 5, but you run her as like 4 in the lane.
I think it's still bad though, because I think a big strength of the position 4 is like buying brown boots on the hero and then comboing, in this case here, with your Shaker Beastmaster. Like, imagine if they needed to dispel like an ET safe lane. Who's another Ursa, like you're saying, right, in the safe lane, and then you're gonna have Shaker plus something that probably needs more support than a Shaker has to offer, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just sets yourself up for so many problems. So like I'm in the same camp as you. It's not really like pick,
Or in general, a draft by bait. Again, they're forced.
yeah.
Gambit knows this, so they're just playing really tempo cores.
And I hope this is Sexy Fat Void Spirit, because historically this is not a hero that Dendi performs super well on.
Oh, I agree with this is the best name. It should be called Gambit 2 Electric Boogaloo. Thank you, always Sunny Watcher. I am such a big fan. That's what the name of this team should be. All right, Gambit 2 Electric Boogaloo. I can subscribe under
All
that.
right, last pick Medusa here, so it looks like it will be RDO
It is
as
a 4 protect
ever.
one.
Another 4 protect one. They love running these drafts. I like the Enchantress because she can run around. She's actually kind of good at playing the dead lane, because she's a little bit tough to kill. For this lineup, not so much, but by the fact that she can kind of just grab a creep, really push a lane pretty hard, and then buy time for RDO. That's really Bait's strength, I would say. Is Dendi, usually he's good enough to gank your lanes. He's super mobile. He loves ganking other lanes. Loves helping out. He's so PMA. I love Dendi. It's reflected in his playstyle. I think maybe only rivaled by Chris Luck and how frequently he likes to gank side lanes. And that can really help,
Seconds remaining.
you know, get your RDO nice and fat, get all these items, and it'll...
Oh, Gambit is playing with their original player again.
Oh, it's
Aina.
Aina. I believe is how. We'll check.
I think it is Aina. We apologize, guys. We don't speak.
I'm not 100% sure.
But yeah, so Gambit's gonna be playing with their original player. They haven't played with him forever. They've been playing with Power.
True.
Aina is technically in the team, so maybe now that's Gambit 2. Aina's like, I can come back.
Yep. Aina, correct.
Aina, okay. So the Enchantress ended up being kind of useful because the Ursa got picked, right? So you at least can dispel overpower. Not okay. Some utility here. I don't know if they guessed the Ursa pick for Gambit, but that's a pretty nice guess. That was the case. The only issue that I see with Bait's lineup is that Gambit knew you're going for 4 Protect 1 from the start, and so they just drafted against a 4 Protect 1. They have really good heroes against this, and they try to out-tempo you with the Ursa. I like Gambit's draft a bit more, but Bait is the safest draft, as always. They always play the super safe draft, always into the late game, and as long as you can survive the early mid game, you're fine. So I don't think it's too bad, but I do find that not necessarily this game, right, but just overall in general, Bait should be able to flex more strategy. You can't have a team that can only play 4 Protect 1 all the time, no matter how good RDO as a carry is, because other teams will start to just draft it. So I don't think that this is a good thing to be practicing. And find that if you're in the lower division, you should be kind of trying to amplify your strategies, becoming a better team. And if you always play the same strat over and over again, I've seen tons of teams in lower division, like when I'm casting lower division South America, when I was casting lower division NA, where I'm like, this team is good right now, but they're never going to get better because they play the same thing all the time just to win. And yeah, winning is important, but you're not in a position where winning is the most important.
For Bait, I would kind of say they kind of are getting to that point, unfortunately.
Yeah, but then they
for
get
these
relegated.
guys.
What's the point of staying in the league if you're never going to...
Getting to improve in Season 2, guaranteed. I mean, I totally get what you're saying, Avo, but right now they are playing for their survival in the lower division, even for next season, right?
Maybe.
That's the thing. They are tied for 7th right now here. Bottom 2, of course, getting relegated. So tied for 7th means they're 7th, 8th currently. The way they want to be, obviously. I think this team's got a lot of talent. I agree with you 100%. I would like to see them try a couple different things. They always run kind of the same strategy.
I see your point that this is not the time to diversify, right?
Exactly. I mean, earlier on, first maybe 3-4 games in the group stage, or sorry, in just the league, because it's basically one big group stage. There are no playoffs here. Absolutely 100%. I agree with you, Avo.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. And maybe, you know, having changed your position for TSA, joining the roster just before the league actually started for 5-ups instead, who left the team. Not sure. Squad, though, clearly. Maybe that was perhaps a bigger change than they expected here, and could be coming back to bite them in the butt. But I really do hope we see Bait continue to play in the lower division here. Guys, they definitely deserve a shot. They made a big move that, you know.
Yeah, no, they put a lot of, I mean, they have a lot of courage. I'm going to give them that, you know. They put a lot of courage into the move they did. I mean, when they went to Ukraine, did you know they didn't even have visa secure? Travel visa for. They had no clue that they could stay there for, or how long. I mean, I can't imagine who would do something like that, you know, go to a new place for work and you don't even have a visa secured. You don't know the government's going to kick you out.
Yeah, it was a bit tough for them as well, because they were playing in a couple of tournaments, trying to get adjusted with their new roster, or just getting adjusted to living in a completely different country. And then they were playing in Ramsglide. Top lane, they're going for killing a Blizzy. They're going for the 3 versus 1 early on. Tidehunter able to kind of just shrug them off pretty wisely, went for the ring of protection. Lots of physical damage here in this. And even with the enchant and a nice fissure, not enough damage coming through. So they need to support this Duso, though. They can't really leave RDO alone too long.
No. What I'm interested in is that the tri-lane, or sorry, the lane makes sense to put Ursa against the Duso. I am surprised they're not running CM still top, because CM just kills the Beastmaster board so easily, right? So Aine went for Aine.
Aine.
Okay. Aine went for the level 1 Crystal Noah, which makes it much more difficult for him to kill boards. So it makes sense that maybe until level 2 tri-lane. But still, the point of picking the Crystal Maiden, and I think to some degree the point of block picking with the Enchantress was to secure the Beastmaster's lane, right? So, go. Yeah, exactly. Now she's... No, she's still just in the jump.
Blocking camps, they really want to get this lane. I mean, they have swapped the lanes, right? So...
Enchantress is going to also crush the Ursa. Fair. It's not an easy lane. I don't know. It seems like your lanes was one of the weaker parts. This kind of... change makes me think that Gambit is thinking about the cores mainly, you know, how the core-to-core matchups go, but forgetting about the supports, whereas Bait is thinking about the supports and how they deal with the cores. And so in this case, I think that Bait might be having a bit of an advantage, unless you can get a kill.
It looks like they can. Earth Spirit, he needs the levels. A good boulder smash there on a 2. Sani, fortunately, you're too slow. Just go hit some creep, as he just can't really help out the kill attempt. Maiden's level 2. It's a lot more kill threat now at the very least. It looks like they really want to commit to this tri-lane, though. I mean, if you look at the items, already a Ring of Bacillus on top of a Maiden. Like,
that shows that you want to be
They want to tri-lane, and I don't really love the Earth Spirit in tri-lanes. In fact, I think he's probably one of the weakest supports you could put into a tri.
Yeah, the only advantage of tri-laning here is that since your Tide is going to solo for sure top lane, right? And now that RDO is there, then more reason to either change lanes or just the Tide.
Did you see that move from RDO?
What?
So he walks up right there because he sees that he sees Blizzy and himself and then the range creep in range of the Anchor Smash, because he knows it's only Anchor Smash level 1 or 2 and that's not enough damage to nuke down the range creep. So he's trying to bait out the Anchor Smash for the deny. What a player.
There's the Enchantress. The Excess Vampire there. I think the point of this fight is to allow him to gank mid more, because you have a really good mid lane to gank anyway, so they have an advantage there maybe. That's the idea I'm thinking about this tri lane. But now you actually force the Earthshaker bottom. Earthshaker's a really weak laner, so this is pretty good for the Ursa. And as long as you can play aggressively in this lane, it's gonna go fine. You take Earthshaker's life, you also kill the Enchantress. The Enchantress is now top, which I don't love. I think Enchantress should be bottom, to be honest, and you should put Earthshaker top. Because you know that Blizzy's not putting too much pressure in this lane, so you might as well leave ES here, who's a weak laner anyway.
Yeah, and there's no kill threat here against Blizzy. I mean... They would have to right-click him he's even got 2 points in the Kraken Shell, for crying out loud, you know? He can really tank here for a comfortable amount of time. All right, well, like you said, the rotation's coming mid, just around the 4-minute mark now. Dendy doing a really good job, actually. He is killing it versus Lorinov. He is 26-9 compared to the 12-0. Holy moly, let's ride on board this mid lane here for a while and just watch the Dendy show here. This is really a strong performance out from Dendy right now. He's really crushing it.
I mean, I think this lane favors a void spread heavily, but not this heavy. Usually it's the kill potential you take advantage of. And I think because of this, Lorinov has to play a bit more defensively. Dendy's build is also a bit of a bait build here, ironically, as he went for maxing the Resonant Pulse, right? And because he maxes Resonant Pulse, his laning is much stronger, but he doesn't have as much kill potential. However, it's very hard as Puck to really know if he's maxed it, got 3 points in there, went for 2-1-2. You're not really sure. And if there's 2 points in the Remnant, Puck is already in a big heat trouble, which is why Lorinov is still forced to play defensively, but Dendy still has really good lane control. So, actually very smart here.
Yeah, I like this move from Dendy. He's going to be able to, I mean, 10 denies is no joke whatsoever. We can just take a look at the XP difference here on the two. Not significant. Dendy almost about level 6. Lorinov about a half level behind here. And I think we could see Dendy potentially, actually, with his damage, he could look to gank top lane or maybe bottom. You could see level 6 immediately showing that one off versus Lorinov. With the haste rune active on the fairy, though, very hard to actually kill it. Bottom?
Well, let's see. They kill Sexy Fat, so it's a good kill, but Xadi in trouble. Doesn't have the enrage yet, so he's not going to be able to tank this too nicely. Doesn't have the Earthshock either. Finally, jump comes off. I don't know what they hit there with the Enchant Totem. It's like he extended it for Xani. And at least the Spare brothers are protecting each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Denny's going to gank bottom. Bottom's still a little bit difficult because it's a tri-lane. Maiden does actually really well in tri-lanes because the more heroes you hit with Crystal Nova, the better. Her level 1 abilities are all pretty damn strong, generally speaking. It's not like, oh, Boulder Smash level 1, it's garbage, right?
No, that's great, actually. All of CM. That's why the popular build nowadays is the 1-1-1 build. Because you want just 1 point and everything. And then usually the Crystal Maidens nowadays will actually either max Crystal Nova or Frostbite because you play her more as a laning support, as a strong presence in the early game. That's what Enchantress does, just you were useful the whole game, and Enchantress are useful for 10 minutes.
Yeah, Alva really just not enjoying the Enchant. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was okay with the hero until I heard Flapjack have a whole rant about her, and now, well, you're right, and he converted me. Now I'm officially in the hate Enchantress camp.
Smoke up. They could look for top. No, it's going to be difficult. We're only level 3, so we have taken the 2 points in Boulder Smash, because again, Boulder Smash level 1 is hot garbage. 2 for the damage and the duration even.
Yeah, doubles the slow
doubles the duration. It's so much. But we don't have the magnetic grip, which is going to be super useful here at making sure you can actually kill Dendy. Duster, though, is basically going to exist here for a free kill. They want RDO.
Yeah.
They're going to commit the coil. Blizzy as well with the minus armor. There's going to be the level 1 rolling boulder. Do they have enough? They actually kick RDO. Now they're counter initiation. The Ravage committed here. They might be able to get the kill, and they will. Lorinov over the gap. Hellbear Smashers. T-Gov now running on in, smacking Lorinov a little bit, but they're going to be easily able. But the Ravage for that, so...
Blizzy there was like, God, excess Vampire, could you not break the coil? Could you not kick him a bit further, dude? Anyway, he would commit the Ravage as he knew. He had it prepared. They didn't want to commit it. They just wanted to break the coil and kill the Dusa with that. But unfortunately, Dusa played really well. Or I guess fortunately for Bait, Dusa played really well in her positioning, forcing the Ravage, which is probably the best case scenario for you there. Sexy Fat in this bottom lane. Crystal Nova will detect him. Aina is just tanking all the creeps here. TPs, RDO joins in. Xani can't quite get the kill here on Sexy Fat, but there's no Primal Roar just yet, so Xani's gonna be fine too. And in the end, the Dusa TPs down bottom to protect this lane a bit more.
You know what, Alba? I'm gonna call this early laning stage. Of course, we've got a couple minutes left in the laning stage for things to go awry for one another. But so far, it's a big win for Gambit here. I mean, look how underleveled this beast. He's not even that underleveled, but he's so far off his Necro book. He's only got 29 last hits.
He's in the wrong lane as well.
He doesn't want to be here, and his supports are dying top lane, basically all over the map. It's a really rough start here.
I'm impressed by how much excess Vampire is early. As you mentioned, he really does need levels. He sucks in tri-lanes, but he's shown it. It almost seems like he's been in a dual lane the whole time. Experience is pretty good.
Honestly, you're not wrong. I mean, you see a lot of...
Can we compare the levels for a second?
Yeah,
You'll
sure.
see he's above the Enchantress, and this is what matters.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, I was about to bring up the fact that, you know, in some games where you see, you know, like an Earth Spirit, he'll do hiding in the trees here on the dire side, waiting for the mid to overextend, right? You'll see him have some pretty bad experience, but I mean, the fact that he was in a tri lane for like the first 4 minutes of the game, rotated top, rotated mid, like he's got good experience. You're completely right. It's really impressive. And now the team's going to stick up behind him. Dream Coil ready to go again. I really like this from Gambit. It is both of their early game smokes. Maybe they'd be best off to try and save him, but they've already got a small net worth lead here. 5 kills unanswered as well. And they're going to be able to find RDO. Smoke's going to break, and they're going to see him jungling. We've got another Coil, Aina nearby, but they don't have anything to snap a Coil here. And Medusa, much like a DK, doesn't really care if you coil her. She can just kind of stand there and fighting.
That's one of the strengths of Medusa early on. Ganking her is not the best way. The best way to really reduce farm is just to take towers, right? It's very similar to when you play against an AM. Unless you have a huge damage source or you're in the mid game where Medusa is much weaker, you're just not able to kill her. So the best thing you can do is put pressure in lanes, take towers, and make her map smaller. And then ideally in the mid game, when you do have enough damage, then you gank her, kill her in the jungle, because you'll know where she is based on the space.
That's going to be smoke number 2 again. Used a little early here. Bait again, still with the shaker. They've got some real serious like smoke gank potentials. 7 for Sexy Fat. He's really caught up here in terms of his farm now with the Necro Book.
He's in the right lane.
He's in the right lane. He's now maxed the boars, so he's going to be starting to apply some pretty serious lane pressure here. So Blizz is going to have to park himself up top lane, make sure they don't lose the tower too early on, because then that opens up more of the map for Dusa to be farming on your side. You don't want that whatsoever. At least you don't want it this early on.
No, exactly. And if Beastmaster can at least take down towers, then it increases your map, because especially the tier 1 top is super important, because this allows you to at least invade the lower jungle of the enemy, and that allows Dusa to have much more space to farm, and also it's a much more efficient farming spree on the triangle.
A naked vessel here for the Earth Spirit.
Honestly, this game, pretty decent. You can deal with Enchanter's Healing to some degree, extra damage for Dusa and Beastmaster and Void Spirit, and honestly, do you need boots? Not this game, it seems. You've just been TPing from place to place.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because because the boots on Earth Spirit, of course, if you're ganking proactively, if you're guessing enemy positioning, you don't really care as much, right? And since the enemy team has not much kill potential early, one of their weaknesses, it means Earth Spirit doesn't have to act reactively, which means you don't have to afford the boots and you can go for a naked vessel.
That's true. That's true. You've got Gush as well for an extra little bit of catch with the slow.
Exactly. And you still have rolling boulders to move around.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. They don't really need him to be like the Orb of Corrosion right clicker this game, right? Because they've got like some decent slow. Crystal Nova, even level 1 is good enough for that.
Look at how easy this tower just fell. Like, they didn't do anything.
They can't defend it.
And this is one of the issues of Bait's constant 4-protect-1 lineups. You play such defensive and safe lineups that, sure, this goes late, you'll win, but can you get to late, right? And Gambit knows this, hence why the tri-lane. I think the tri-lane was such a good idea, because they defended the Ursa, it secures early game, and you know the tempo of Ursa is better than Dusa's, so that's easy.
And you wouldn't have guessed that Dendi completely owned this puck as well in the first 5 minutes of the game. Guys, it was not close. You don't see that every day.
Who do you gank with now? The Enchanters? I mean, come on.
I think I mean, to be honest, gank with Sexy Fat, right? He's now got Necro 1, he's got Roar ready to go. That's a decent amount of burst damage. Looks like they're going to show up with RDO, though. He's got a Yasha, so his farm's pretty respectable, but fine. Ursa Warrior, Fuzzy Wuzzy, just free to farm wherever he pleases right now. Nearly has a full Battle Fury.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Ursa is not... It's not
Fuzzy Wuzzy. It's fine.
That was his original name.
Basis with him.
Oh. It was my good friend, my good pal Fuzzy. Anyway,
Fuzzy, Mr. Wuzzy.
But the Ursa, the Ursa has no need to go for the overpower build because he knows the Enchanters are there, so there's no point in playing early. Just play the super build. And Ursa does farm faster than Dusa as long as you're putting pressure with the rest. And Gambit, ironically, has a much better early mid 4-protect-1 lineup. Bait does. Because Beastmaster, you're right, you can gank with him. But if you're ganking with him, he's not pushing your tower, which means he's not making the space for your team that you want to. And nowadays, Beastmasters, it's less likely to see him gank around the Primal Roar and the old Blink Dagger timing. And it's much more common for him to just take a tower with Necros and then proceed to gank.
I like this rotation. I was toggling on over to Gambit's vision there because Dusa is currently in our award. All 5 heroes were currently bottom. As the Coil connecting onto TSA, that Aether Remnant is going to actually condemn Lauren off there. Duster, a bit of extra damage getting the kill. Nice job. But yeah, I mean, they like you said, they send the Tidehunter up top lane because he serves 2 purposes, right? He's going to dissuade the Beastmaster from pushing, which immediately Beastmaster's going to go farm the jungle and leave. And he also makes it that if the Dusa is there and for some reason wants to fight, he's already going to be there. The counter initiation's already there. They don't need to wait 3, 4, 5 seconds for the TP to come in. Yeah, I mean, nice job there. Good rotations along the map. A little bit too aggressive there from Lorinoff. That means he's going to be the first to drop 12 minutes in for his team. Needs to buy the courier now. I think that's how the rule goes, right? So we'll be looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Got to die.
First
this guy's played Dota 1, huh?
Buys the courier.
Like pretending like he was us.
No,
the old guard.
that's how it worked at NA pubs back when you had to buy couriers.
Tell me they met as Dota 1. You.
In the pub meta at the probably 1K MMR level, yeah.
I have played pubs in NA, so I don't.
All right, there's the jump onto Aina, getting a little bit too aggressive here, and Dandy easily able to pick up the kill.
I mean, he was blocking the gank from the Ursa. The Ursa wants to farm the lower ground, he even put a ward there, so I think it's fine. Bad play. Well, I mean, now we even say it's a good play because you actually stop and you block the gank completely.
Yeah.
And Duster's like, all right, guys, I'm going to be useful. Let me try to push this mid lane tower, but immediately Puck comes in. And all this effort you put Enchantress down the drain.
It's all dead. Lorinoff nearly having the full Witch's Blade as well. I love the item edition of Blade because before, for any int hero that could build for a right clicker, they always had this really weird sort of build up where it was like, I've got Orchid and now what? For a while, everyone was like, Blade Mail. Blade Mail's great. It gives you some int, gives you some armor. And then Ice Frog's like, no, stop doing that. And he removed the armor from Blade Mail, or he removed the intelligence from Blade Mail. So I like this item a lot. Dream Coil on a Dendi. Can they initiate here? Here's Duster. The Echo Slam out from TSA. It's a big one with the 3-man Echo. The team fight's all there. RDO even showing up, picking up all 3 kills, completely punishing Gambit as they go up to the high ground. Blizzy, all of his mana's been burned out, but the Necrobook Warrior as well. He can't anchor smash because then he's going to take the last will damage. He might have to, though. Ouch! That hurt.
Yeah, he's going to die, I think, regardless. Bye-bye, Blizzy. And that's, guys, you learn something new in Dota. How to lose a game in 3 simple steps. First, smoke to the high ground. 2, forget about the Earthshaker. 3, get all the people around the same choke point. And
I'm so shocked that they make that mistake, to be honest, because who dies there? Maiden, Earth Spirit, and Puck, right?
Which is your ganking squad.
Which is your ganking squad, but the reason it is your ganking squad is because they're mobile AF, right?
Yep.
Puck can approach from this way, Earthshaker can come from this way. Maiden, you gotta walk the old-fashioned way, unfortunately. But they just walk themselves into the choke point versus an Earthshaker. Like,
I guess they weren't expecting the Earthshaker to be there, but maybe like another point to be made is, should you really be ganking when ES has been off the map for this long? Right?
True.
Because he was farming his Blink Dagger. You didn't see it because that was revealed.
yeah,
Good reveal.
and that's the best reveal I think you could actually out for. Here's Duster, you're gonna die in exchange.
Hey, look at the Enchantress. Look at her utility. Oh my goodness, Duster surviving so much.
Dead.
Is under attack.
5-man gank. That's going to open up Roche, so that's what Gambit were going up there for in the first place. I agree with the move. The execution, a little bit sloppy, and it was punished quite heavily there for Fate. So nice job.
I also agree with the move, but maybe the timing was not precise there, right? Because you were thinking about your own timing,
Yeah.
and completely forgoing the enemy timing.
It was, I mean, walking up this staircase, it's one of the thinnest choke points up to, like, high grounds, if that makes sense. It's up two levels of high ground. It's the exact same as walking up this high ground. It's the exact same as probably even better walking up to this one. Like, how many times have you seen team fights just fall apart there?
At least in those high grounds, right? Unless you're playing on the Roshan. Well, the triangles, yeah. The first triangle you point out, yes. Because whenever you're in the triangle, you most likely know that the enemy team is playing full protect 1. They're going to have at least a... Maybe not the Earthshaker, maybe you're lucky it's the Enchantress, but are you really going to take that bet when they're both off the map, right? That's the difficulty I see here. That, I mean, you can't underestimate Bates for Protect 1. They do have a safer draft. They know if they get this to the late game, it's pretty much a one game for them. You just need to do that. Silence for Dendi. Good Dream Coil.
He's got Yules. Is he going to go for the...
Yeah, he's going to go for the Yules play.
Oh,
Doesn't work, though.
He didn't get it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. They still have Waning Rift, but they're a bit afraid of going in now. Pause. Because Lorinoff is stuck. It seemed like he was stuck there.
With a little bit of lag. That's unfortunate timing. Stop the Waning Rift from coming out. That's what Dendi was waiting for. Dendi's like, are you going to silence me? Or am I just going to use the Yules for free?
And the Puck was just sitting there, and then he's like, oh my god, this guy's so patient. I can't believe. The iron will of Gambit too.
Dendi's like, no, please, I insist. Silence me. Because, of course, now we have the silence without the Yule Scepter available. So Dendi actually in a bit of danger. We'll see how Lorinoff plays as the Blink Dagger for TSA is up and the Echo Slam. Are they going to make the same mistake? No, not this time.
Once you don't initiate properly and you've all just had the issue of like TS killing you with the Echo Slam, I think it's fair to play safe as Gambit.
Yep.
You don't want to give him another good team fight like this one. I think you still have a fair window opportunity. It's still like 50 more minutes where your lineup is stronger, so it's not too weak, right? Like, you still can have the Tidehunter Ravage to kind of secure the team fights early mid. It's not a big deal. already got enough farm that I feel like they can start ganking you a bit more efficiently if they want to go for smoke ganks.
Wow,
and
old
Beastmaster.
Ursa going right for the blink.
Dire's middle tower.
Actually, a lot of verses nowadays are doing that.
I like it. I like it. Start building Mask of Manas again. I'm starting to see that on offlane Abba a little bit.
Well, it was only one game we cast. It was Iceberg playing that one.
Oh, I didn't cast it.
Oh, sorry. But it was Iceberg on Abaddon, so it was technically not offlane, right? Because he's still playing the mid from the offlane position. So I don't think that's like a build that's going to be very often. But I will say that the blink on Ursa has been quite a common thing. Like if you want to play a faster Ursa, you always go blink. Blink with Abyssal when you have double mobility, because now Blink built into Swift Blink, so it's much better item for
Yeah,
Ursa.
actually, yeah, very true. Man, Ursa is just like getting so many buffs. People realize that Battle Fury is really good on him. Swift Blink makes it like now you can actually go back to the old build, because that used to be a big pitfall of Ursa, much like the Tinker and Alchemist. As soon as he was 6-slotted and like after 35 minutes, he just felt so weak.
Not the case anymore.
Nope, not at all. It's because they've changed Abyssal, and now Blink actually can give you stats and more attack speed in the late game. That's exactly what Ursa wants here.
Dire under attack.
With Aegis in tow, they're going to be able to pretty safely destroy this tier 2 tower. Not much of a defense mounted by Bait, as they instead have their eyes set top. Count this teleport, though, from Blizzy.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah.
Is under
But it doesn't seem to matter, right? Blizzard's just tanking this wave nicely. They have Primal Roar, but it's never the target that you want to hit, the Tide Hunter. They do deny that tower, though. That's more tower pressure from Bait. And the Beastmaster are starting to work out now. A bit later than usual, but he's starting to work out. He's pushing out lanes. Meanwhile, Puck really fell behind in terms of fun.
Yeah, I think that's the reason we're seeing the Beastmaster getting this amount of space, right, or having this amount of impact. Because early on, I was quick to point out Sexy Fat had a very slow Necro 1, had a very slow level 6. All of a sudden, level 13. His farm is still a little bit lower than the Puck, but that's pretty damn good. That's more condemning to the Puck than anything.
Oh, that's a very good dribble as well. But now they're like,
okay,
"Ah,
stack
we got
stuns."
Echo Slam. They did. They have enough damage with the Enchant Totem. They'll guarantee it. The extra 1 second done.
They caught Dendi, though.
They did, so it's mid laner for mid laner, and that's a better trade for Gambit since Dendy's doing a bit better than Puck.
Yeah.
Not too much better.
I would agree.
Slightly better for trade.
I mean, I agree as well, because you get the Dream Coil out there. You did use Echo for the kill. We're going to have that, yep, already the Ag Shard already. Man, TSA, I mean, 20 minutes, this is like, I think, the new sort of benchmark. You know your Shaker's having a good game if at 20 minutes he's got upgraded boots, one stat item or a wand, as well as the Aghanim Shard and the Blink. He's having a real good game.
Yeah, this striker can carry the game for you, honestly. He's having as much impact on the team fights as a Tide is, which is why I think they're running Blizzy as more of a... If you go for Solo Quest on Tide, and of course the Mord Mask, usually you're running a Tide that's a bit more impactful, like more like a 2-ish Tide and a 3 Tide, which is great once you hit a couple more levels. So Gambit is already thinking of their contingency plan if this goes late, which is a good idea, right? Because you need to have a way to deal with Deuce if this goes late. It's still difficult for them, but at least with these builds, it makes it less impossible. If this goes like minute 30, 35, it's not an auto lose for them. So that's good. I would like it if they play more aggressively though, but I can understand why Gambit doesn't want to mess up against the...
Yeah, I think that put the fear of God into them there, as they know what can be coming for them. Aeon Disc for Puck, second item, not wanting the BKB. Okay. I mean, the Dispel is really all you really want on the BKB.
Yeah.
You're going to be a bit too slippery for anyone to catch you. And if somehow you are caught staring into the eyes of the Dusa, BKB is not going to save.
Exactly right. That's why I understand that.
Baker, though, but...
I think that BKB would be a justified item, maybe later. Maybe
Okay.
30 or so, like a third, fourth item. I think at that point, yeah, you can get against the Shaker. I understand the point, though. I agree that it's still pretty good.
You know, actually, I actually fully agree with you, because right now, even if Bait win like 2 team fights right now, and then it's 30 minutes, I still don't think they're pushing high ground, just because RDO on this Deuce is
Hey, you still have
really...
time.
Yeah, you're going for a slower build. So having that 10-second BKB a little bit later in the game,
It's going to give you a lot more utility.
absolutely.
Also, right now, it's not just the Deuce, it's also the Primal Roar, right? So it's the two things that pierce BKB.
True.
So I mean, honestly, this is something I have to consider. I don't know. It depends how quick you're out with your Enrage.
Lincoln's Aeon Disc, yeah. Oh, the Ursa. I think Ursa just Ags this game.
Oh, he's going for straight BKB. Like, I would have liked it if he didn't go BKB this game immediately, right?
I prefer the Ags first.
Yeah, me too. I think the Axe is very useful this game.
Radiant's
Particularly because, I'm not sure if this spells you turning into stone.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
I know
That's a weird
You
interaction.
can always use it so long as you're not silenced.
Exactly.
So
I'm not sure how this stone
I'm not
interaction-
sure if you are silenced when you're in stone.
It certainly dispels the Primal Roar, though.
You can, by the way, get turned into stone more than once if you dispel it, by the way.
What?
Turn into stone more than once if you dispel it.
Oh, it's true, yeah, because the ultimate continues.
Not if no. Usually I only get lasting off the duration.
Well, if you get the talent.
Ah, true.
Yeah, that's so you get the talent and then it. It's not if you dispel it, by the way. It's if you dispel it and enough time passes.
Yes.
I'm more than about the.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yes, usually you can't get turns to stone twice in the same cast unless you're really bad. The Earth Spirit walks in. They're going for Duster. Oh no!
Duster!
Man, not even Bait cares about the Enchantress. They literally just killed the Enchantress.
Sexy Fat's like, what are you doing? Get back!
Duster's like, you block me! Like, hey, it's the Enchantress.
Yeah, it's just the Enchantress.
Don't play this hero.
Oh, very.
He's going for the shard. What's the shard do for you? More wisps?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're
Three
like
permanent ones.
I mean, I see the logic of this new build, right? Holy Locket with the wisps. The problem with that, the shard, which I tested, is that you have no synergy with any of your talents until you hit level 25. Which on a 5 Enchantress, like, good luck, mate. Thank you very much for playing. So, in this case, good luck, Bait. Thank you very much for playing. So I don't understand why you would go for the shard, honestly. I think it's a really weak shard in Enchantress because the level 15 talent that gives you more Nature Attendance Wisps would be really great if this gave you like more healing or something.
Yeah.
But instead, it just doesn't work.
Wow, they actually go for the kill there. That was going to be Roar, Echo Slam into just the Earthshaker shard, but Sani now looking for a revenge kill. Aina just, farming the wave, no big deal there. Sexy Fat, though, he's going to be up next. The Basher for Sani, and that's going to be 2 kills then for Fuzzy Wuzzy. Didn't even have to use the BKB there.
I do it.
Nope.
I don't think Lorenoff is really worth 2 ultis here at this stage. I know they wanted to force some rotations, again, space created for RDO and whatnot, but just don't really know if that's exactly the type of fight that Bait are looking for at this stage. Because we have Ravage and Rage at this stage of the game, very short cooldown. We can see it's already ready to go again. I guess we use Freezing Field there, but that's just Ina making sure he can out the wave. So Gambit, I think they're really strong right now. I believe they can smoke up, look for a fight, get a pick off, and then take Roche. And then they're in the driver's seat for the next 5 minutes.
Exactly. And now you have Gambit still with a pretty sizable lead between the 2 cores, which makes the core-to-core matchup not that big a deal. Because, yeah, Dusa will beat the Ursa every single time, but only with equal farm.
With Solar Crest, you don't even need to look for the pick off. I mean, they can't contest it. There's no Echo Slam, there's no Roar. That's your team fight.
Yep, exactly. So the Ursa now, he's probably one of the few heroes that you can run on Dire and still control Roshan, right? Even though you're up against a Radiant team that has a pretty good team fight because of how fast the Roshan falls.
And I think Slaughter as well helps.
Slaughter's up there too. But I would say that on top of this, because Tyler went for Solo Crest and has the Gush, it makes it 10 times easier to control Roshan.
Definitely.
Which means that Radiant advantage is not so notable here.
Very true. Good point. Roar for Sani, the follow-up, not quite there. Axis Vampire just kind of rolling on in. There's going to be the one-man coil as Dendy jumping forward, looking for this kill. Will find it. It's going to be the Eye of Scotty, and this is a very tanky Dusa indeed. Will end up dropping just 1 for free. I mean, Roar committed there, not bad. Again, scare off the Ursa for now. Get him to pop anything, though.
The Gambit lineup is just biding their time until Earth Spray probably comes back. There's no need for you to roast this right now. You just got Abyssal and Blink that. It's a huge power pick from Sani. You know that you can easily burst on Medusa. Especially if you can start from activating Stone Gaze for like 2-3 seconds.
That's the only issue. And we don't really have any save either on the side of Bait. Do our supports have supporting items? Not well. This is
you
pretty
consider
good.
This save?
Holy Locket, I would, if only because it synergizes really nicely on the Dusa, because you also give her the mana as well as the HP. And that's a very, very big heal along Locket. So that could always give you enough time to cast a Mystic Snake, maybe to turn on the gaze if you didn't have the mana beforehand. I think it's a pretty interesting build, this game. I think at some stage they're going to recognize that the siege is really hard, so that's why they're going for the not going for the shard anymore. Instead, yeah, the Force Staff is just better. Force Staff always feels kind of bad against the puck, but it's kind of necessary in the game as well.
Yeah, you need to have some sort of save, and Glimmer Cape is not going to help you here. Not against an Ursa. You just carry dust and he murders you.
I also wouldn't mind the Yule Scepter, though. Always a great item to have versus Ursa.
But as an Enchantress, you are limited in what you can itemize. You don't farm very well. One of the many issues. So, yeah.
All right, Aeon Disc is ready. They're going for the oh, it's almost ready. They're going to go for the cute strat where you can just assemble it as soon as you need to dispel. This works, by the way,
very smart.
if you're chronoed or just anything.
Yep.
Even unless you're muted. As long as you're not muted, you can just go ahead and disassemble this. Unlock
so Doom aside.
Doom aside, and I think not Nullifier, Duel aside, I believe as well.
Yep.
Are the only 2 exceptions to this. As those are the only 2 abilities that will completely mute you. And yeah, so we're going to see Puck with a little bit of a cheeky move here. You see a lot of offlaners do this as well with Hooded Defiance when they have the pipe recipe in the backpack, so they get the double barrier for themselves, which does work, by the way. And it works the same way here. So looking forward to seeing how this one works.
Go to the tower mid, take advantage of the fact that you are just stronger than any team. You know your 5 healers are here, and the issue, of course, is that Blizzy can't quite just blink in a Ravage and you just follow up easily. Yeah, ideally, you don't want to do that in the high ground, but you just force these. You force these early game engagement. Like, the whole point of here of Gambit is just wait until Bait makes a mistake. They try to go on you, and then you punish with Ravage. Yep. Or alternatively, see them out of position, punish with Ravage. And Bait, one of the things to be said about their lineup is because they always play 4-1. I'll say that, honestly, their late game strats are really good, and they always go into contingency plan the second something goes wrong.
Yeah,
so they're already cutting
true.
lanes.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like the polar opposite of Hellraisers.
You know, it's funny because you're right. Gambit is looking for Bait to make a mistake, but Bait, because they know they play 4v1, 4 protect 1. Yes, the 1 is the utmost important there. Like, that is the win condition, right? The 1 is the win condition, but it's not to be understated how important it is to still have those 4 heroes to protect the 1, right? I mean, it's like if you take out the entire bodyguards of the 1 person, they're going to die super easy, no matter how much farm they are. So having those 4 other people, especially someone as annoying as the Void Spirit, who now has Ags, by the way, on Dendi, he's going to be buzzing around, locking down your backliners, silencing them, making sure that they got to use their utility a little bit earlier on in the fight when they don't really want to. Stuff like this is super impactful. So they know, because of their late game playstyle and the 4 protect 1, that they're not going to be caught out themselves, right? So they're looking, the only reason they would want to engage right now is if Gambit are the ones out of position. Or if they catch the Earthshaker. Yeah. He's dead.
He's also cutting lanes though, so that's why, like, right now Gambit, as you mentioned, has no intention of fighting necessarily. You know, you just want to make sure that all lanes are pushed so you can turn that fighting into objectives, and Bait is doing a really good job of making this very difficult. That's a good TP into the outpost. We heard Dreamcoat on the Dusa, tries to dispel with Manta Style, doesn't work out. They push her back. Where's the Ursa? Running towards them. Can they catch her in time? There we go. Vessel as well with the Ravage just to guarantee this kill. Wow. Duster will be a +1, but the real important kill here is on the Dusa. That's your high ground defense mostly. Yeah, that's Stone Gaze. You can just jump into the high ground, no problem.
Dusa doesn't have buyback.
Nope. I mean, that's RDO style. He rarely saves for buyback.
Unfortunately, the...
like minute 30.
Yeah. Obviously, the Enchantress couldn't get in there with the heal. Yeah. So that was not too much of an impactful position 5 right there. I think you'd probably have literally any other position 5 right now at this stage of the game for Bait. And it's starting to show off, really, the weaknesses and the Flapjack script. But here we go. TSA just, you know, doing Earthshaker thing. It's going to slow down the push here. Slowly but surely. Needs to buy 30 seconds. They can't go for the Megas as they still have a tier 2 in the top lane. Let me jump over to this courier real quick. It is Dusa's courier. What do you got queued up here? Just Butterfly. Nothing too sexy at this stage.
That fissure was not quite on point. They could have... I don't know if you could have even followed that up, though. And the Dusa's lack of buyback allows them to take 1 lane of racks. I think if you're playing into the hyper late game, which is Bait's plan at this point, because you don't really have anything else, you might as well just let your 2 racks go and try to protect the top racks as much as possible. Right? As you cut lanes, you're in full contingency plan mode now.
You are.
This is like plan Z, you know? You don't even have the option of really fighting them head-on at any point, even with Stone Gaze. Gambit is playing quite defensively because they don't want to lose the advantage.
Well, yeah, I mean, this game is actually so important for the rest of these teams. Currently, Gambit is in a 4th place. They're the only team that's not in the clear running for 2nd now, with Windstrike kind of being untouchable with a 5-0 record. But they're also above the 1-3 records that are shared by 5th to 8th place. So they don't want to lose this game because they really technically are still in the running. It's winnable here for a 2nd place run here for these guys. So that's why they're playing this one cautiously. Bait, of course, they are playing for their 2nd season already, basically, in the division. So that's why we see so much patience. I see a couple people kind of just poking fun at that, but what's on the line for these teams is absolutely no joke.
Yeah, that's why Gambit is playing an extremely patient game, which usually they don't do. In the case of Bait, they always play this way.
Yep.
If you have never watched the Bait game, welcome. This is what they do, man. They farm forever, they hope to win the late game, and their late game is really good, honestly. But always trying to get there is one of the issues that has kind of plagued them during these whole league. That's why we mentioned in the early game. This is why also I don't find that, like, even if you were to diversify your strats, yeah, you can think it's unsafer because you don't play early mid-game drafts very often. But they're going to just counter your draft, right?
Yeah.
So your goal right now is essentially with these kind of drafts, they're saying, I'm just better than everyone else. I can play this draft, And even though they're gonna outdraft me every single time, or they're gonna draft against me every single time, I can still just outplay them, which is a really tough call to make.
It is, especially when you're getting out farmed right now. I mean, you got a decent core to core, but when there's a 6K difference between your carries, I mean,
Ursa's fine.
yeah, Ursa's fine. Sani, he's got the MKB already. He preempts the butterfly, so RDO's like, well, I can't fight with this. Now I need +1 item, right? Right now, that's currently Divine Rapier. Okay, Blizz is going to let him know they got vision on the high ground. Or no, he got that vision because the Dusa was attacking him.
Blizzy. Oh, that's board canceling. Blizz is just like, all right, I'll walk in. We know what can happen. As long as I walk in alone is fine. No
True.
echoes possible, which is true. But of course, the constant canceling of Blink Dagger is why you can't just walk in and Ravage.
Caught Lauren off there.
Yep.
Catch by Dendi. Holding on to that high ground position. TSA always behind. Pores. Sure that he's never visible on the map because he is very high priority
Still
for
hasn't
Gambit.
needed to assemble the A on this comp. Crazy.
No, yeah.
That shows how defensive they've been playing this whole game. And now Bait just hoping that this game elongates enough for them to catch back up. I don't know at which point RDO is going to be good enough to beat the Ursa, though.
Yeah.
Especially with a Swift Blink. I think this matchup becomes not that great for a Deuce.
I agree. And if she's not quick, I mean, with the Abyssal Blade, you're guaranteed at least that initial bash and probably a +1 because it's, what, a 25% chance with Overpower? Yeah, they're getting another bash in there. Again, we don't have any saves for the Dusa. We don't have any Yule. We do have a Yules on Dendi, so maybe that's going to be the difference maker, right? He does close the gap. I mean, it's a 4 protect 1, so Dendi using even both Astral Steps to be able to Yule Scepter the Ursa and allow Dusa to get off the ulti is a very, very valuable play. Even if it gets Dendi killed, we might even see that because I think he's the only Yules. Yeah, he's the only one with Yules this game. So there's Roche. Hello, Roshan. He's got Aghanim's Blessing.
Perfect for Ursa, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't really have. I mean, either Ursa or Puck, but Puck already has his, so.
Yep. Yeah, definitely for the Ursa.
He killed the Courier with the Battle Fury.
Yeah, this one's going to go down real quick.
Unless, can they defend this? Gonna try. Look, Ardo just walking in. Nice fissure, but they stack the stuns. They're continuing to fight this. They have Ravage. Blizzy just waiting out those BKBs. And instead they catch Dendi.
RDO's doing Roche.
No, they silence him and Dream Call him as well. RDO trying to take Roche down, but it's not going to be fast enough. Dendi's already dead from a roar for the Earth Spirit. And in goes Xani, hoping to kill the Beastmaster.
Oh.
And they're going to do so in time. Sexy Fat is dead. Duster also in trouble. As the Stone Gate's been used, Blizzy still holding on to that Ravage, so Bait knows they can't go in again.
No, they cannot. Dendi buying back here, though.
You use the Stone Gates.
Oh,
RDO,
no.
RDO.
No.
What is happening here? There's no way you can defend it. Ravage dudes, the Echo, yeah, but that Echo's not going to be enough. Ravage is so much stronger. Zones out your whole team and take a Roshan for free, even the Ags. That was not the play.
No, unfortunately it was not. Dendi here lucky to escape because, well, he just bought back, and a death here is going to be very costly for these guys. 35 minutes in, Bates, they really try for that Roshan play. Unfortunately, Gambit, they just outweight them. They're just a little bit too patient here. RDO straight back into the pit there like a madman. Immediately killed by Sani now, who has, by the way, the upgraded Enrage. Cooldown here on this bad boy is going to be 18 seconds. And they're just going to go straight for your tier 4s. Everyone has buyback here on the side of Bait at the very least. That to look forward to. And again, they cannot yet get the Megas. They're going to be going out for the bot lane at the very least. Dusa back in 26, only level 20, so her death time not that long. And there it is, the Divine Rapier queued up. There's just multiple Divine Rapiers queued up, and with this Earthshaker, you can delay the push a little bit. We're kind of out of ultis except for the Enrage to use, with the exception of the Dream Coil here. It's going to be 2 lanes of barracks for the Bear of Ursa. Oh my goodness.
Saudi doesn't care. I mean, what do you... The strategy for Bait, like I said, is, I guess, to just defend the 1 last lane of racks, because, like, it's a 4-head or 5-head play is what they say, right? Only 1 lane of racks, easy to defend than 3.
Unfortunately, I mean, there's not a whole lot of split push potential from Gambit. They're simply just winning fights and then taking your buildings immediately after. So it's not that big of a move here. I mean, RDO is going to be alive. Maybe if he gets level 25, the 75 int talent is looking a lot that you're going to there with the mana shield at the very least. Because right now, I mean, it feels like this Deuce has made a paper mache. The Fury Swipe's just eating alive. That's why I kind of wanted a couple more Yule Scepters here for this Ursa, but as soon as he's BKB'd, I mean, what do you even do against him? This BKB, by the way, is still 8 seconds. Puck, again, has not dissembled.
He's never needed it.
That's a problem.
Assembled, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, unlock combining and assembled. Correct. Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know what to say to Bates' trap. I mean, that play was so weird in the Roshan pit that I don't know if they've ever tried this game. Genuinely, because that was just there was no way you're gonna win that.
No,
right? The Ravager's still up. I don't know what kind of brain fart happened there. Now with the Ursa Ags, I think it's over.
Andy,
genuinely.
Fast fingers there, dodges the Dream Coil.
Yeah, you have to keep cutting lanes, but there's a 34k. When do you see a team like actually?
This is the magic number though. This is the magic number where TNC came back.
Oh, it's true, actually. It was exactly that one. Now, does Bait have a broken combo like Earthshaker Morphling? No. So
they don't. But look at this. Dota Plus, 101%. I don't think so.
101%.
I don't think so.
They control the Ursa, but since he has the... Oh, he didn't actually eat the Axe. There's a Ravage. Okay.
He does have the Axe.
Going for Xani. Oh, my bad. Sorry. The Ursa activates the Enrage in the middle of this, also the BKB. At least they're actually managing to hold this off. Blizzy's forced to eat the cheese. They forced the Vexus Vampire, and Blizzy, a bit too hasty, will be punished for his... Maybe not. They have to waste an Echo Slam just to be able to stun him. Xani, though, still wanting to play aggressively, hoping to kill RTO. There's a silence for RTO. The bash as well. They stop with the fissures. This Earthshaker alone is controlling the team fight. Xani jumps the wrong way. Can he catch up to the Dusa? He can. RTO's down for the count, but still having buyback. Xani should know this. Goes in for Sexy Fat using the Swift Blink, and he's going to guarantee this kill. But Xani will lose the edges in the process. Where's the Dusa buyback? Your team is still fighting. They're going to play super greedy, and Xani will get a dieback from Sexy Fat. Find the buyback from RTO, but is it too late? Gambit get another counter kill onto Dendi. That's going to be the second dieback of this engagement.
RTO is here, though. Xani no longer has Aegis, but yeah, he's got the Enrage. See you later.
Why? Why did you wait so long for that buyback when your team is fighting, right? Like, either commit to fight or don't.
I think that's going to have to be one for the true sight, you know, Anna not buying back on the Spectre sort of deal, right?
Yeah?
I couldn't answer that question for you, Alpha, unfortunately. I'm not too sure. I think RDO, his buyback at this stage, pretty expensive. You know, that was pretty close to the Divine Rapier, which does legitimately put you back in this game. But, yeah, I mean, as soon as
I can see the greed, but isn't Bait been playing greedy this whole game?
I mean, I agree, but, I mean, the problem is as soon as TSA has to use Echo Slam to try and save RDO a little bit longer, Gambit, they go, oh, sick, there's the Echo, let's go right back in. And that's a great read from Gambit. You got to give him credit for that one. I mean, at the very least...
Gambit was on point this match. I mean, even despite this hasty play with the Titan going in without like really thinking about the counter initiation and how well TSA is playing, because my goodness, this guy is amazing. Still, they managed to take the win in the team fight.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we still got these barracks standing, so it's a win, question mark, for Bait overall?
Maybe not win. Like all your buybacks.
It's not a loss at the very least.
Exactly, it's not a loss.
Like,
You didn't lose yet.
It's one of those calculations, like if you play RTS, it's like, well, unfortunately, I have to do this, and even though it's really bad for my late game economy, it stops me from literally losing the game, so its worth, its value is theoretically infinite, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not a loss. It ain't a win. I'll agree with you there. And the net worth lead now 41k in favor of Gambit. We'll just take a peek here at their itemizations. Blizzy now, Ravage number 2 coming soon. I mean, this Ursa basically now 6 slotted. I guess you can get rid of the boots thanks to Swift Blink and go for Dillis? A Diffusal Blade? Kind of, right? Rapier? I think Rapier's a little spicy. Okay, now he's got...
Honest, actually, what I like is Butterfly.
Fury Swipes. Yeah, Butterfly. Yeah, true. Yeah, I think anything you can buy that makes RDO's game even harder is...
I mean, he's going to buy a Rapier, so I guess maybe...
Yeah, but you don't know that, right?
Oh, true.
I mean, you probably know, okay, it's Rapier time for the Medusa. Like, I've played a couple of Medusa games before where my team didn't win me the early game, and... well, here we are. Yep. So yeah, that's a good point. We'll see what he queues up. He's got 6,000 gold in the bank. He's gonna absolutely murder Duster. That's untouchable, I think. Already just only level 2.
Ignored though.
Yep.
It's that big a deal though to lose Duster because I haven't seen him. Okay.
It's true.
Not really Duster's fault.
No. That's not true. He got a good 4-step off in the last fight.
That's true. He's a walking 4-step.
He's a walking 4-step.
I don't think that's that big a deal. Again, no flame to Duster. Really, just the hero.
It's just the hero. It's just the hero. I've seen him pop off when he gets his heroes, and I think the...
Yeah, I miss Duster Disruptor.
The Enchantress just not proving to be too impactful this game. Now, of course, we can defend Megas theoretically infinitely on the side of Bait, but look at Exos Vampire. He's looking for the wraparound. They want to end this game. Sexy Fat in a bit of a bad position, and Hassani immediately making the jump now as there's TSA locked down by Lorinov. The ulti, though, from RDO to save his ally. Lorinov actually... Nope, just kidding. Phase shift attack is going to kill our Earthshaker. He's gonna have to buy back. Access that fire in. Ravage number 1 though, Blizzy. Ravage number 2 coming soon. The Deuce is already dead by the time the second Ravage hits, and RDO forced to throw in the towel. Gambit Esports, they've got this one in the bag. TSA at least gets a nice Echo Slam off. One for the boys, but it's GG.
Okay, so to the point of the last 2 plays that we saw from the Dusa, which were kind of questionable, they're not using the buyback immediately and the walking into Roshan pit. You could argue that the reason why they made these kind of plays is Bait knows that they're in such a bad position that
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
1-2. Okay.
Radiant team ban. Dire team pick. Radiant team pick.
Void incarnate.
Did you launch the prediction?
10 seconds.
I don't see. I mean, I don't see it because I think I'm a mod. Let me reload.
5 seconds remaining.
Oh, there it is. Yep. What?
Dire team.
Oh.
Call me like that.
Ready to go? One.
Hello guys and welcome back. We're here in the lower division of the Eastern European DPC League created by ESL.
Goodness, it's really like just went across your entire vocal range with that introduction, didn't you?
About to say, oh, and Intel was gonna be.
Oh, that's a good thing you didn't then, as we do have ourselves a game between Game 1 and Game 2. And let me just say, Bait, I took a look at the schedule that they have coming up, and it's kind of hard for them. They are going to be facing Windstrike next, which, may I remind you, are 5-0, and, I mean, absolutely demolished Hellraisers. And like, my goodness, they really outclassed. Hellraisers, by the way, currently for position 2 still. And they've got Hellraisers to face, actually, after for Bait. So, it's
they need to win.
They need to win. Frankly, they need to win if we want to see Bait, which I think everyone wants to see Bait in the next league. Because again,
everyone loves attacking Bait. So if anything, you got.
That's true. I mean, that's true. And we've got a draft underway, so let's go ahead and pull up. But just to continue the point, I mean, again, because we're not sure what the lower division relegation rules are looking like. Will they still be allowed to play in open qualifiers?
Yeah, a lot of people are just saying, "Oh, of course they will," but honestly, guys, we don't know.
I don't know for sure.
Because when asked for clarification, Valve said, and I quote, "We don't know yet." So
yeah, so it's a bit of a scary position to be in. I mean, like, here's the thing, guys. If you're a professional athlete, are you going, and then you don't know the future, like, what are you going to do? Are you going to go, oh, it's okay, we might be able to get in through the open qualifiers that might be allowed for us to participate in?
Yeah.
Or are you going to go, no, it's fine, we'll just win a couple of games and then be guaranteed the slot? Like, obviously, one of those outcomes is for more than one reason, right? It gives yourself a personal security, it gives you security for your sponsors. Like, that's
a huge thing. It's like saying you're a follow-up player, and then your next, like, for next league, you have an option of playing in the Premier Division or in the Belgian 4th Division. You go, well, you know, those two are really far apart, and this is pretty much the cutoff that DPC makes it, right?
Yeah.
Some people have spoken about this, how like the lack of that now new tier 3 tournaments have to kind of spawn up, but those tournaments lack competition because most teams are in the DPC, and those teams are barely there, but that are quite at that level that couldn't get to the open qualifiers are in a really difficult position.
I will say though, I don't really like that excuse. And kind of includes Beast Coast here. I've heard some other teams kind of say the same of when they're third-party tournaments with significant prize pools as well that run alongside the DPC or existed beforehand, where they go, nope, we don't really care. Joke for us, right? Not they don't say it's a joke for us, but they go, you know,
not all
whatever.
Teams say this.
They say, oh, it's practice. Not all teams will say this, absolutely, but I don't think that helps you practice for like real series when it matters. I mean, just to like. This is like not the best example to use, but like for like marksmen when they train like soldiers, right? Under no stress whatsoever, their shooting accuracy at like 200 yards, which is pretty far, right? About 200 meters. It's like 98%, right? Yep. Under combat stress, it falls to like 16%, right?
Of course, in America, those are stats.
It's just an interesting thing, right? But I think it's relevant here because it's like if you play every game and you go whatever, haha,
it's your last,
like but if you play it like it's your last under stress and simulate those conditions and get some, you know, and figure out where the pressure points are, what do we need to fix? Yep. You're going to be a better team, I think.
And that's what I'm hoping Bait will do in this draft, right? Like, you're up against Gambit 2, Electric Boogaloo, and it's not easy to beat the. They have a pretty solid mid-game to late-game draft. They're back with their full squad as well. Bubber's great, but it's nice to have Aine again. He's a really solid. That really helps their drafts a bit. So Bait, you need to kind of swap around what you've always been doing. No Arc Warden, no TB, no Monkey King. Pick something that's not Medusa, please, for RDO. Something that's a bit more early mid-game. A Troll would be fine here, honestly. I mean, against an Enigma, not so great, but...
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Like, you get my point, though. Something that's like a bit faster. Against an Enigma, most carries are kind of countered, though. In fact, that's why Gambit can afford to go for the Enigma. Because he's much like a Beastmaster. He's an anti-carry. Right? He just is the hardest counter to most carries that you can really draft. There's like a few exceptions. Maybe Phantom Lancer's kind of decent against him. Or
I want to just make, I mean, you're totally right about this. I want to make one sort of clarification there in that not necessarily for the lane. So you can afford to pick something a little bit weaker, quote unquote, with a lane, like the Weaver, right? Because Enigma, he's going to be super annoying. He's going to deny every single range creep and every single wave, and you're going to lose a lot of your, experience there. But he's not that scary in the lane, right? He's not going to kill you. You're not going to die to an Enigma. In fact, you might be able to even turn with the E. Maybe get a couple of kills.
Rarely will you kill the Enigma unless he messes up, right? Because he can play super defensive. But your lane equilibrium is always in his favor.
But you're not going to die to Enigma unless he like gets level 6 in the middle of a little scrap and then he... So that's at least the good news here for Bait. He definitely does hard counter you in the mid and late game. Obviously, the late game, it's like not being able to move with Refresher, BKB. Luckily, you know, there are different ways. Dota's a balanced game, even though in some games it doesn't look like it, specifically Taker and a more... but having the Rubik and just generally supports to counter the Enigma is going to be the bread and butter strategy to beating. And the Rubik, along with Silencer, are among the hardest counters to...
Yeah, it's true. That's why, I mean, Bait, seeing that they already have the Rubik, they don't need to pick up any other counters, I'd say. They just pick up a support or a carry star that's not too weak against the Enigma. Weaver's fine. Yeah, you can get Black Cold, of course, but if you're fast enough, especially with level 25 talent, you can usually outrun him, and you have time lapse as well. And if they don't kill you in the duration of Black Hole, so there's options. But Gambit goes for a really good pick anti-Weaver. I will say though, Bait, hey, diversifying your draft. You're actually picking a hero that's more on the early mid game.
I agree.
Mars works well with this. Mars also is one of Dendy's better heroes as well, so you can actually run him in the mid lane as well. It works nicely. ET secures your lane, but it's not an Enchantress, thank God. Rubik, just useful in general.
Useful, but counters the Enigma.
I mean, TSA has always been a really solid pick. So
good spells to steal this game as well. On well, anything from Enigma is really fantastic, except for the Eidolons. Silence is nice to have, or Exo, which is basically free for the most part, and then anything from Bloodseeker, especially Rupture. Oh, Rupture this game. I mean, it's great against Bait, it's great against Gambit. It's even better against Gambit, I would say. DP, even as a core, even as a support, wants to still run around and be mobile.
Sure, but against the Weaver, it's just a hard counter, though, that like...
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard counter to the Void Spear, too.
Yeah, but I would say that this case, though, Gambit totally could abuse the Bloodseeker. So it's a really, really solid pickup. I think it's going to be a carry, to be honest. Though it can be an offlane, or it can perfectly be a carry this game.
But then where does... I mean, I guess you could run like a 4 Enigma, 5 Enigma.
I'm thinking, like, you can run a 5 Enigma. No-Tail's been doing it recently. You can also run 5 DP, or also mid DP, or 3 DP. All these are kind of flexes.
I think it should be a core Enigma, because then it's then your support duo is
what I'm thinking
super
is
bad.
Bloodseeker 1, Enigma 3, Void Spirit 2, Death Prophet 5. That's what I'm thinking. And then now they're picking a 4, and I think Bait agrees with me here.
I agree. I think that's the move you got to make. The issue is if you have two big, like generally played as cores, balanced as heroes, as your support duo, and you fall behind in the early game, it's honestly GG. Like there's nothing you can do, because really, in my opinion, the supports mainly are the ones that play, especially for the first 5 minutes, but then the first 15 minutes determined a lot by support. So with that in mind, right, if you're losing the first 15 minutes and then all of your cores are not farmed either, you're I think Gambit, of course, being a game up, they can try and run a super duo with the Enigma DP, but I think that sets them off just getting crushed in the early game.
I would agree. Also, a 4 Enigma is not really that viable. I think 5 Enigma is better, but 4 Enigma right now, it's like somewhere between jungling is just not being useful. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't love the Enigma pick here as anything like the 5. Okay, but I just like it as a 3 much more.
Me too.
I think a solid pick, by the way, as a 4 here, since you have a Weaver counter, and also to some degree Mars is Disruptor. Yes. I know Disruptor 4 is not very common these days, but if you can play it, I mean, I know Excess Vampire is not known for that hero, but honestly, it's really solid.
I like it. Circles of Death. We've got a couple of circles here. Dissemblate, Black Hole, Midnight Pulse, Rupture. Sorry, make that Bloodrite a big circle, and then you add on top of that a Kinetic Field and a Static Storm. It's fantastic. It's also great at counter-initiating versus a Mars, because you can throw down the Static Storm in the middle. He just hates it. Tusk.
Okay, so that's the last Excess Vampire hero. He's known for Earthshaker, Clockwork, Earth Spirit, and Tusk. So these are the 4 tanky 4s, and these are the heroes that Excess Vampire plays on top of Mirana. Yep. So they went more for the comfort pick than they went for the better pick. I don't think Tusk is the best pick in the situation, but he's not bad. He's great against Mars. He's solid against Weaver because the Ice Shards still bother him. And of course, Walrus Punch is solid as well. God damn it, Bait.
We got baited.
We got baited.
We actually got baited. We thought it was going to be... Okay, you know what though?
Bait's like, did you guys think it was going to be a good draft?
No, but RTO Medusa, yet again, we got him, boys. Dendy's like, hee hee hee. You know, he does that Dendy laugh that I love. Oh boy. All right. Well, okay. So the good news is that I actually really like the Weaver offlane this game. It's a fantastic Ags game. It's another 4 Protect 1, which I know we don't really like to see. But, I mean, it's a much better draft this time around. I think the draft actually has a lot more synergy. You fight well mid and early game as well to help your Dusa not get involved in fights. What I want to see, though, is I want to see RDO. I want to see, specifically what I want to see is from Bait, pushing top, pushing mid, pushing bottom, and I want to see RDO on the other side of the map. I don't want to see him anywhere near his team whatsoever for the first 20, well, after the laning stage, for the first 10, 15 minutes of farm, right?
Please, yeah.
Nothing. Unless you're like doing the play where you defend his high ground, defend the triangle, okay, that's acceptable, but I don't want to see him.
I don't know, this draft, but from Bait, like it's the same as last time, right? You have a 4 Protect 1 draft. This time at least a lot more space creation for the Mars Weaver, and you have a much better support duo. So improvements, but still the same idea as before,
yeah.
right? And the issue with again running the Dusa as your main win condition and being your sole win condition is that when you run Weaver as a carry, you have usually a dual core or tri-core lineup. In this case, you could run it that way with Dusa can't run a tri-core or a dual core or anything. You're a 4 Protect 1 every single, much like an AM. And in these kind of lineups, Enigma just pops off, you know, and Enigma is amazing against Dusa, by the way. One of the better heroes he can counter because she cannot get away from his black hole. And as long as you silence her in the beginning so you can't get Stone Gaze off in the middle of that, black hole will counter her every.
That's true, but you know what's great to have in situations like that, Avo? A Weaver Aghanim Scepter. I really like this item. I really like the build. It did get nerfed a little bit. I believe the cast range got nerfed on the frags. I think it's... I don't know where that would be, but they did nerf it a little bit here, so it's not as strong as it used to be. We used to actually see for a ton, and sometimes even Weaver 3. So I like the idea here. I think it's going to be a little bit more clever. Again, for Bait, though, it's really coming down to it, guys. I mean, having Windstrike as your next opponent here, when this match could lead you squarely in 8th place, which is in the relegation zone, is a dangerous place to. And, well, Gambit, they could potentially snowball after this one, as both teams are going to pretend like they don't have vision of each other, but Sexy Fat and Excess Vampire are both spinning to win here. By the way, it's Excess Vampire on the Void Spirit, so it's 4 Void Spirit. Lauren off on the mid P this time. Versus the Mars? Yeah, I think that's the matchup you want. But they have vision of each other, and I think now they've acknowledged that, so those wards are not going to last too long, but neither team is...
I like at least that one thing to be said is that with the heavy counters they did to the Weaver, flexing it as a 4 or as a 3 in this case, right, makes it a bit easier. You do have save for your core, so that's good too. If you're playing a 4 to 1, then at least having a bit of save is usually useful. Yeah. That's what a lot of teams trying to draft. So there is a point to be made in flexing the Weaver. I just also think that maybe you could have just run any other hero that wasn't the as your carry, because this limits you to the same things as last round.
Yeah,
and Gambit knows.
Why not a Wraith King?
Honestly, there's a bunch of heroes you could... Wraith King.
I love the Wraith. It's a hard counter to the Enigma, isn't it?
And Bloodseeker as well.
I mean, but hey, if there's one thing that Bait does, I want to make it clear. We don't dislike that they're going for this draft, because honestly, if I've ever seen a good 4 Protect 1 draft, it's this one. It's not a bad 4 Protect 1 draft. You got good mid-game team fight. You have a couple of saves for your Medusa this time around, compared to last game where you had to buy it on your supports, which did farm. We'll ride along here, this Astral Spirit rather, running bottom.
Interesting choice to run the Void Spirit as a 4 here. Very Eastern European 5 Tusk, because Tusk cannot trade well against older.
Yeah.
And yeah, to Percy's point, by the way, when we make these kind of analyses, we're not saying, oh, my opinion is so-and-so. We're saying, hey, these teams are drafting this way, I wonder why, and here's your explanation, right? As to why these teams are drafting this way. If you think that us saying, oh, Bay, you shouldn't draft 4 Protect 1 is my opinion, that's not up to me, dude. Gambit is crushing them because they're drafting this way. That's a fact. If you can't see that, I'm sorry. You know, and that's just the point that we're trying to make. We're not trying to tell Bait how to draft.
Oh, yeah. If I was trying to tell them how to draft, I'd be playing in the deep sea here and trying to play them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, right. I'm only basing my analysis on what Gambit is doing. If Gambit has figured this out, there's a reason for it. I think you guys should respect what Gambit does much. Excess Vampire did used to play Void Spirit in the beginning of the patch, by the way, when they used to play it very often. In Eastern Europe, they actually played it much more as a 3 and 4 in the beginning, more than a 2. And then everyone's like, now come on, guys, just play this 2, it's so good. And then they eventually caved. And it's unfortunate because I love Lauren off Void Spirit.
We'll see. Yeah, like I said, I think the DP is just a much better matchup here mid lane. But we still see it sometimes for Creep Wave. They like to give Amar, the friendly guy, they like to give him offlane Void Spirit, and he's really, really good on it as well. I mean, 11K as a 15-year-old, like, yeah, he's going to be pretty good on whatever hero.
His reflexes are like, you know, by the time I've finished the draft, he's already winning the game. Duster might just die here to Eidolons. Good harassment, by the way. And unfortunately, the ET is just not very good against Enigma, nor against Void Spirit, because Void Spirit tanks your damage with a shield, and Enigma range, and he has.
He's ranged. Yeah, you do get a little bit of extra damage courtesy of all those Eidolons at the very least, so there's that to look forward to, but that doesn't really make up for the fact that you still...
And top lane, at least, Weaver's not too bothered by a Bloodseeker early, but you're not going to ideally really bother the Bloodseeker. The thing is, Tusk 5 is kind of weak, but you also know that off lane is not too strong. They have a bit of kill potential, but Bloodseeker's armor is usually enough to tank Weaver damage, so you're kind of fine. Gambit is, yet again, not feeling pressure to win the... What they want to do is kind of win the mid game, and then from then on...
Oh. Bottle Courier Express for Dendi, free sip for him, courtesy of the rotation. We didn't even need to drop first blood either to get that one, so Dendi having a little bit of an advantage. DP here, who now has enough money to bottle. It's going to still be able to contest the minute 4 runes just the same, though, so not that big of a deal, but Dendi, at least he can breathe easy until the 4.
Exactly. Dendi... I mean, Mars is one of his better heroes because he can play exactly as he likes, which is super aggressive, you know, kind of early game tempo, and still farm. That's how Mars does. And it suits the playstyle of Bait in general, because Mars is a really good space creator and becomes a nice secondary core, even with Adusa. As long as you can take advantage of your ganking potential. You also have better supports to gank with. Last game, they didn't really have supports to gank with.
It's true, yeah. And Dendi, as always, he likes heroes that you can position with.
That's true, actually. He's a big fan of the repositioning. Surprising he doesn't play as much Tiny.
No, he doesn't, actually. I think Tiny, I haven't seen that actually here in quite a while. As the rune will spawn.
No, but even back
bottom.
then, he played it a couple times, but it wasn't one of his, like, signature heroes. Like, it doesn't really ring a bell to me with going, oh, wow, what a performance by Dendi.
Compared to, like, probably what the Mag.
The
Pudge,
Mag,
obviously.
yeah, Mag is great. Obviously, Pudge. But the Hawk, for example, is also someone plays a lot.
Yeah, it's actually, I think, his most played hero.
Not surprised,
in professional ticketed matches on his main account, that is.
I mean, as such an old player, every old mid laner has played the most matches on Buck. RDO in trouble. I don't know if they can kill him. Nice body block, though, by Axis Vampire. RDO. Yeah.
Good stomp. Good stomp. Very
that
good
stomp is going to prevent this aggression, but you already kicked RDO out of the lane. And honestly, I think this lineup by Gambit is even more suited to deal with 4 Protect 1 because the Enigma is great at just canceling Dusa farm. Killer, you just need to keep denying creeps. Vampire, good shield. Duster should not be able to kill him. Unless, no. There's an Ether Remnant available as well. That's why they rotate. Aina.
Snowball might just be... Oh, no, nice job there on the shards. Echo stomps a little bit early. It was a good move from Duster, but unfortunately the shards out from Aina, a little bit superior. That's going to net them a couple of bounty runes, and the first blood bonus onto the position 5 Tusk.
When Tusk really wants to rotate, this is the correct 1-1-1, as opposed to the second point in tag team. Because, yeah, second point tag team is good damage, but if you're not in the lane, you're not going to abuse it as much. Whereas if you're rotating the Ice Shards and Snowball, that's going to be amazing, right? And you also see the classic build on Tusk.
Oh, and they're looking to boot Dendi out of the lane. This time, Lornoff getting a much better mid lane start compared to last.
It's a good matchup, though.
It is. Dendi, yeah, they're going to boot him away. They might even look to kill him with that God's Rebuke. It's going to be a bit too difficult. Oh, TSA just showing up. Yeah, needs to pull this creep wave away so that the tower will actually target the wagon. And that'll just about neutralize this push here. You can see they even rotate Duster. They recognize how important it is to not lose the tower this early, especially with the Medusa. Again, very predictable play style here for Bait, and that's not a diss at them. Is when you play 4 Protect 1, the game's got to go. It's got to go a certain way.
And the mid tower is so valuable for this kind of play style because you really need to make sure the mid tower stays alive so you can control your jungle a bit better. Realistically, defending the bottom tier 1 is so difficult, so you really just concentrate all your efforts on the mid 1, which is much easier to defend. Xani take a bit of damage.
No.
And because Bloodseeker is also so good laner and not really phased by the Weaver, who has no kill potential, you can just leave him alone, and this gives Aina a lot of rotation power, which is why his build is so good. It's Vampire in trouble. There's an Ether Remnant available though, so he shouldn't be killed by Dust. Suppose he's even enjoying. Be fine. But if anything with Malefice, Duster could be in trouble. There's the Ether Remnant, third tick of Malefice, enough damage, Duster's gonna die, and RDO you just can't do anything to save him.
Yeah, not really much to be done there, unfortunately. The Mystic Snake is... it's nice to have the bonus damage as well per bounce. Does well against Eidolons if there's only 3 other creep, but already he's going to be struggling. Has to use the ulti, gets caught by the Aether Remnant. Axis Vampire, good damage there using the level 2 Resonant Pulse as well while he wasn't facing the Deuce Thirst active. We'll go top lane where Sani is going to be Gonna make use of this, and straight away he's gonna go on to Weaver, level 6. He beats him to the punch. And
what a
speaking
nice
of punch, there's no wall response quite yet, but Dendy rotating does manage to find one, but a great preemptive snowball out from Aine. It's not gonna be enough though. Sani is still in a lot of trouble. They're gonna focus onto him first, and now Aine should be easy pickings here, especially with the swarm providing detection, and with the fade bolts, it's gonna be 2 kills. Great rotation from Dendy. Well played.
I gotta give it as well to that was an odd snowball by Aine because he chose not to pick up this Bloodseeker in the beginning. I don't know if because he wasn't fast enough or because he thought Bloodseeker was fine, and then he tanked the whole damage of the spear plus 1 hit from the ball, and then he snowballed him.
Yeah.
I think Tusk was dead no matter what, but maybe the Bloodseeker could have survived if he hadn't had to tank little bouts of damage. Not that big a deal, but this is the advantage of having a Mars mid. He is a really fast mid laner. He can rotate relatively effectively, and as long as he's level 6, he's fine. Mid lane, there's another fight actually going as the DP, Duster, saves the rune, no dust.
Oh, detection.
Is that why his name Dust?
Yes, that's why, chat, because he always gets away because they never kill him with dust.
No, I was thinking because like he always buys dust because he's +5, right? So he's the Duster.
Radiant's bottom.
No.
Radiant is under
Or maybe it's because he cleans up the trash like a true Duster.
Could be.
Knowing him, that's more likely. He's a very charismatic person, I would say.
He is. Nice dude.
Yeah, I think he's great for the scene, honestly. He's very young as well, has a lot of potential. So even if he doesn't do great.
His favorite color is pink.
Is it really?
Yeah, of course. That's why he's got the pink Razer keyboard. His hair was dyed pink for a while.
That's true. He has long hair like FNG as well.
He does. I don't know if it's still long, of course, having not probably seen him yet for any lands.
We don't do the Skypes anymore.
We don't do the Skypes anymore like we used
Duster,
to.
where are you, dude? We miss you.
Blizzy, though, he's already demolished that tier 1 tower bottom. Medusa doesn't really want to be here anymore, but a rotation, 2 smoke from
That's a
Dust.
good rotation.
They're going to be baiting TSA. Not enough mana for a black hole. Blizzy, he realizes he's been got. Echo Stomp as well to increase the damage. Top lane, though, they're making another play for Sexy Fet, as this time around, with no counter rotation courtesy of Dendy, the kill's pretty easy.
But credit where credit is due. At least bait is rotating more effectively. We can
100%.
see the impact of just not having Enchantress. Seriously, these supports can actually rotate with the Mars, and they're creating space with them. Last game, I think it wasn't so much a mistake by Sexy Fet that he didn't rotate with Beastmaster. It's just that hero doesn't do that anymore, you know?
Yeah, and he had a really tough early game as well because they were kind of playing musical lane for a while, trying to get the ideal matchup. And yeah, I mean, it was well played by Gambit, of course, who forced it in the first place. It's not like Bait just made mistakes, right? But
No.
they were forced mistakes.
Exactly, but at the same time, though, the way that they play with the Beastmaster unfortunately slowed down their draft.
Definitely.
Again, I wouldn't even say it's a mistake because you're supposed to play Broodmother Light for the first 15 minutes and then you start ganking. And because the lineup was too fast by Gambit, it made it a bit weaker. This game, though, thanks to the Weaver Mars, you have much easier space creation, and your forward at 1 is a bit simpler. And much like we said last game, if this game goes long enough, it should be easy for RDO. But will it go long enough?
That is the question of the hour, isn't it?
It's honestly really impressive. Like, for a team that many people would consider tier 2 or lower division or whatever, is their late game decision making quite solid. Don't really make mistakes most of the time. And you can really tell in the fact that they've come back from games that's impossible.
Definitely.
So it's been a really... If you get Bait long enough and you get them to play these kind of really late game drafts and they can probably get there with an equal footing, I do believe that they have one of the better late games. TSA, oh, that's a good arena of blood. And the Stomp also attacks his Vampire, but...
woke him up. The wall woke him up. They poked him, and he's like, don't wake me up. I'm sleeping.
That was the simulate. Okay, Duster still continues to fight here. Sexy Fet gets the kill on his Vampire. Xani joins in. Exorcism has been used. Lorna wants to fight this. They go for Dendy. Can they cancel his TP? They cannot. Dendy. Oh, the damage is huge. Okay, he was about to get away, but instead, I just get 2 nice little counter kills. Like, Xani already has Javelin, right? Is that why he got that extra burst?
Yep.
Yeah, that was the extra burst.
Going through that armor, of course. A bit of extra damage. RDO, he gets to work on the mid-tier 1 tower. He sees coming his way, and he's going to go in and back off.
He's going for Yasha first, probably the best item. RDO, one of the things he does, because he always plays these games, how to itemize for the mid game, right?
Itemize for the mid. Sorry, go ahead and make your point.
I was going to say that he always likes the Yasha, because the Yasha can go for SNY or Manta, both of which are decent mid game. Usually you see a Dragon Lance as well on both TD and Medusa, for RDO specifically, because then that helps him fight with his team more. saying with the Weaver.
Yeah, speaking of itemizing for the mid game, great item choice here. Falcon Blade as well into the Medallion of Courage. So he's actually going to be kind of like playing a pseudo core in this early game, but with the Medallion, he's going to be able to get ideally some solo kills. Permanent haste here can't be dispelled, but there's no Yule Scepter yet, as that snowball is going to take him all the way up to the high ground into the waiting arms of RDO. He's even getting involved in this kill, and he continues to stack.
I wonder what the build for Weavers. Offlane Weaver. Okay, Medallion Axe. All right, that was exactly the build I was going to say. Sure. Some of us used to see Spirit Vessel as well. I don't think Spirit Vessel is that great this game because you have a couple defensive dispels, the eventual Yule Scepters, and it's really only useful against DP and Bloodseeker. So, sure. Build the Medallion, which is nice low damage, and then Axe immediately for. And that's gonna help you save the Medusa. And because you have save this time, it's a bit easier to play on Dusa, right? The question is, can Dusa outfarm the Bloodseeker? Because last time, obviously Ursa is a faster farmer with Battle Fury than Dusa, especially with more space. Bloodseeker, I would say not so much.
Yeah.
Once you get Maelstrom, we'll see him like spike in terms of farming power, but he's not as great as a Dusa.
Yeah,
as an Ursa.
Yeah, and we've got an offlaner who can skirmish, and skirmishes pretty nicely along with Dendi to provide the teamfight lockdown control that you're missing from this offlaner.
Yeah.
He's also kind of playing Broodmother Light. Not a single point into the black hole, maxing the Eidolons, maxing the Malefice.
It's the general way.
It is the general way. Yeah, so he's going to be going straight into the Necro 3 next. Nearly has enough money for it. He will rotate over to the mid lane. I think he's got a skill point. He does, right? Yeah, he's got one skill point to use. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, there. So, by the way, what we call this the general way is because in a recent game by Na'Vi, which they won, by the way, with a general, kind of actually mid-Enigma, he played this completely, clearly a Eidolon-based Enigma, where he was pushing all the lanes with his little babies. It was not about the black hole as much. He got, I think, 3-4 black holes that game. I mean, actually, 2 of them were right after each other with a refresher. The black hole win condition. It was all about the Eidolon push and how keeping the lanes push gave him so much map control that it was very difficult for the opposing team to really beat them. It was Navi versus someone.
I think it was Team Unique.
Could have.
I'm trying to remember, but I watched the game. Yeah, it was a funny game as well.
It was a good game. Like it showed a different way of playing Enigma.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not funny because like one team got smacked or something like that, or that they made mistakes, or they started telling jokes in the middle of it. Instead, it was because Blizzy, our general in that game, picked up the Arcane Blink. Fantastic item on the Enigma, but it really increases his animations, which makes his black hole look very funny.
That's true. It's true actually. And now you can see this, right? They're going for little smoke kills, but whenever they do this, Blizzy is not with them because what his role is actually playing Mother or Beastmaster or whatever. Yeah. You know, you just push the lanes, and this lane control gives you a much easier time initiating. He's doing a really good job right now securing from the Dusa. Regardless, so you're not seeing as many kills. Instead, they're sacrificing their supports, and as per usual, we're gonna shine a light onto the good aspects of Bait, which is they go into the contingency plan immediately.
Yeah.
They're now sacking their supports, creating space for the Dusa, and hoping to take this lane. At least they know how to play this kind of lineup.
They do. RDO
almost perfectly.
Nearly farmed the full Manta style as well. The issue I foresee is that Blizzy, he's pretty much a little bit better than the Broodmother at this stage. With now the Necro 3 as Duster, he's going to witness the Necro 3 in action. Down he goes. It's the second time dying like this. But again, just scouting the map here. Make it. They're going to look to nuke the wave with Sexy Fat Sakuchi. They do a pretty good job. Unfortunately, they still keep a melee creep alive. And being that's a tier 1, Loronoff's going to be able to tank this easily. Or, in fact, they don't even need the wagon. They just send in Blizzy and the boys to take care of it.
Seriously, he has the babies and then his ugly babies, which is the Necronomicon.
They should. I mean, you can think of this set actually. Those aren't actually like, I don't know, glasses. Those are hard hats because it's the demolition crew for Blizzy.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, it's true. But Blizzy is just digging towers, you know?
Yeah, he's the contractor that shows up in the pickup truck and actually doesn't do any work.
So what walls do you need demolished, boys? And then he just takes out his crew. It's like, come on!
Let's go. Snaps his fingers and points at the tower. I mean,
a bunch of underpaid workers come out of nowhere.
The talent is really, actually, it's insane when you get 5 plus 50 damage.
Plus the level 20 talent of the Eidolon damage.
It's like, so good. And his role this game is not necessarily to tank either. If there's anything he's going to be doing when he actually does show up to fight with his team, it's going to be to counter-initiate. They are baiting RDO here, and I like the positioning from Bait, but it's sniffed out here by Gambit.
Is it?
Yeah, they knew. They drew on the map.
I knew. By the way, Tusk 101, if you guys want to learn to play Tusk and you don't see the enemy team, the best thing is always ice shard the choke points and don't even bother with like trying to ice sharding someone from singing. That's the best way of limiting movement.
Yep.
And it also makes bait panic. They go, oh, we can't go through this way. And then you can see they actually moved around because they wanted to make sure they didn't get caught out against the Ice Shard. So,
Same thing with the Earthshaker, just fissure another choke point.
yeah, don't worry so much about hitting heroes, especially in the mid game. And Aina's been doing a really good... I mean, Aina's just doing a little class on Tusk, right? Master class here. Been playing a really solid Tusk 5.
Yeah, right now, Gambit, they are getting drawn into this sort of engagement. Blizzy cutting the wave here with the Demolition Squad yet again. Can't call them Demolition Squad because that's techies, though. Demolition... to call them them.
Tower Wreckers.
Something like that, yeah. Your base breakers. Excess Vampires
base
going
breakers,
in.
like that.
RDO, you got the ulti up, just has enough mana now. Silence is going to be luring up, but they are going to sleep her.
Skills.
Has the ults, but too much move speed there with the Exo active. Duster is going to be caught yet again. Sexy Fat jumping on in, though. Could look to turn this
Nice.
one, and there's the arena. They find Lauren up and dead. Just like that, Dendi now fighting, but Sani has the BKB, and look at the attack speed. Oh my goodness, they're melting one by one. Blizzy with the black hole. He's going to be able to catch Sexy Fat. First one of the game, level 2, as Sani will get the next kill onto Duster. That's 3 kills for Sani, all of them going his way. Unfortunately, they don't actually get the kill onto the Weaver, but it looks like they're going to be able to secure it here.
Yeah,
with the
no time
Malithus.
lapse.
Yeah.
You can't dispel dust. That's why it's always useful to have 1 dust for the Weaver. Everyone says carry sentries because you can dispel dust. Well, without Manta, especially as an offlane Weaver, carry dust, guys. It's much easier to check on him. So that was a really good initiation by Dendi. It was on point. He killed Lauren off pretty much alone. But Gambit understands as well that now is the biggest power peak for a Bloodseeker. From BKB, you're ready to go. No hero can beat you right now. And since the Stone Gate was off, as soon as I saw the Arena Blood, Xani knew it was his time to shine, right? And yeah, maybe Lorenov's positioning wasn't great. He did have Yulfilter available to avoid that spear. There was chances for him, but that was just commending Dendi. Great play. However, you don't have a carry yet, so it's just Dendi versus the world.
Yeah. It is kind of Dendi versus the world. We almost have this Aghanim Scepter, but they can actually look to play a little bit aggressive without Black Hole, without Exo. If they can force a couple of these early BKB charges out, I think that's going to really severely help them into the late game, especially if you can kind of bait them a little bit. Again, I hate to make the puns on accident here, but if you can bait them using like Duster, using even Sexy Fat here, like those 2 deaths are well worth a 9 and 8, and maybe even a 7-second BKB charge.
I agree. And then once you have the Ags on Sexy Fat, the kind of game changes a bit because Medusa is no longer that weak. Those time lapse are every time.
The only thing that's a little bit scary here is the wave clear. It relies, or rather, it relies on you being pretty close to actually hit the crit. Weaver's pretty good with it with Sakuchi, but that requires him to literally hit the creep. Dendi's got to walk up and cast the God's Rebuke, and that's when Gambit could potentially catch you. Or they're going to at least get vision, drop a Rupture, everything, right? So that's the little bit of a scary point, is that with this Enigma and his names, the Tower Takers, the base smashers. If you lose a fight and we still have Necro 3 and Eidolon's ready to go, I mean, like, you're going to lose a couple of structures here. So it was a good job by Bait to make sure they fight in an area where Gambit are not able to capitalize immediately, right?
That's also very true, actually. Very good point. Because Gambit, whenever they win a team fight, they'll take much more. Not just because of Enigma, but also because of Prophet's existence.
DP,
Yeah. Now, of course, they wasted their Exo there, but usually it's going to be available, or at least the last bit of it, to push a tower. Mid lane, we see an attempted gank. Medusa, those are good ice shards, again on choke points. RDO, though, fighting against the base smashers, and he's going to beat him. Even kills Necronomicon creep. That's a lot of gold for the Medusa.
150. You man, put that cold hard cash in my hand. He doesn't want to deal with these Manta Illusions. They killed his Eidolons, that makes him... He's got to pay workers' comp now to their families.
Of course, in that team fight as well, we didn't see Enigma's Black Hole really coming against, like, I mean, he used it on the Weaver lane, fine, but you didn't see the big Black Hole. As the game progresses, those Black Holes become more of a win condition. Play them more aggressively. Duster. Well, this is a high ground, guys. This
Nice
is close to
shards.
enemy triangle.
Good shards.
Those are really good shards.
Yeah,
Stone Gate still goes through shards, though.
Stolen shards.
And they spear him to them. Nexus Vampire just wants to move.
Oh,
avoids that stomp.
Light there. They might try for Roche here with Exo. I think they're going to have to use Exo level 2. Do we have a medallion or any source of minus armor here on these guys? No. Yeah, they have to use Exo then, along with
tough,
tag
though.
team.
You're dire. I mean, they just wasted Stone Gaze, that's why. But there's Arena Blood available.
Yeah,
you have Black Hole.
Black Hole. Yep, that's the big one here.
Yeah.
Earth Splitter, Mars Arena. I mean, those are pretty good to fight around. But this is such a tough timing for Bait. Do you let this go? Do you let this one go? Finish farming the eggs on Weaver? Oh, they're not giving them the chance.
Yeah, they want to go for RDO. Rupture immediately. They try to blood right him as well. well, Lornoff. In trouble. Xani just hitting the Dusa, but Xani cannot beat him.
No.
Even with a BKB, he lacks the healing, wants to go for Dendi. Put in the snowball. There's Black Hole. On to 3. And that's your win condition, Black Hole, boys. They even catch Sexy Foul with a Waller Stolen Black Hole means nothing. TSA, you're a great player, but without a team behind you, there's just nothing you can do here. What a Black Hole, Blizzy.
Yeah, my goodness. I wish we could do replays here because I want to see where did he come from there. Because that team fight was looking so bad for Gambit. TSA getting a good Black Hole steal. Unfortunately, he ends up kind of trapping the rest of his team in there because there was some double ice shards. The Tusks came this way, and then to complete this little ellipse, we had the TSA shards here. Trapped them perfectly in there for a Black Hole. Blizzy then with the Blink Dagger, freshly picked up, by the way, just completely wipes bait off the surface of the map.
Yep. And that's why, that's also the threat of an Enigma that plays this way, right? You're not playing for the Black Hole. You're not setting up for that. You know, your whole team fight is not oriented around that. But mind you, if the enemy team forgets about it, ooh, boy, you are going to punish them, right?
Yep.
It's the threat of the Black Hole, as Puppy always like to say.
As Shiver, as Puppy says, yes, it's the threat of the Black Hole.
Exactly. And that's exactly what they're doing.
And it was a great one there. And I mean, let's just contrast that with the previous time they all tried to run up this specific spot. This time around, Gambit, I mean, they've learned, right? They know that RDO is going to be farming here, especially because they just scouted him right here. But not only that, they know they have some powerful counter initiation, so they wait. And they know who they send in first? Bloodseeker with his BKB activated, and he just clears the lines,
but he
runs
did
right
nothing
in.
against the...
He wasn't. That's the scary part.
That's scary, right? Because he went for a really tanky build, which is SNY build. This is the traditional build on Bloodseeker. But you might need to consider some contingency plans. Basher is okay for Dusa, but maybe an MKB is an option here for the Bloodseeker. Alternatively, a Butterfly early.
Okay.
Something that really adds damage.
I get what you're saying here. I get what you're saying. I don't know, though. I feel like...
I'm not saying against the SNY, by the way.
No, I know. You're just saying naturally the Bloodseeker's not going to start doing a whole lot of damage until a little bit later on in the fight, or until you kill a support or something like that.
Well, you just need an attack mod. Well, you don't get more damage when you kill.
Oh, no, attack speed.
Well, you don't get that either. Blood Rage, dude. You gotta play more of this hero.
Sorry, I don't have 110 games on the hero.
I love this hero so much. So, what you usually do when he actually starts to peak is when you get a modifier that's not strong like that. Basher is not good enough because he has a... So that's why sometimes it's Bloodseeker versus Dusa.
This is going to be a good kill onto Duster. Spell Stolen should be the Aether Remnant. He's not going to get to use it though. Aina immediately on the jump there, along with Blizzy in tow. And they're even going to go ahead and farm up the camp as well as the ET body.
Yep, now you're starting to really catch the Rubik because you know it's a... Hey, we just got a huge point of inflection for bait. Just got Ags on the Weaver.
Ags on the Weaver,
Big
Scotty
deal.
for Dusa.
Oh, Dusa's actually going for MKB as well, so she acknowledges that she's tanky enough to beat the Bloodseeker, she just needs a bit more damage. Whereas Bloodseeker should acknowledge the same thing. Now the option for him to go for Butterfly is taken away.
Hello, Sexy Fat.
Like, okay, Rupture immediately.
Doesn't have TP.
No, I think Sexy Fat is in trouble. He's gonna Shukuchi, a bit more damage. Sani's like finally Blood Rage. Time has to heal him more. Sexy Fat. Okay, Ainit, you didn't have to take that one, but sure.
He didn't have a... He wasn't carrying a TP scroll versus a Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
Hardest counter in the game.
He has the Frozen Sigil, by the way, now. He's gonna give him a lot of vision.
I love it. I wonder if he's got the Vici Gaming one. That used to be...
Do you stop the cosmetic?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they brought it back.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, so this Frozen Sigil, sorry, is really good to give you blows under attacks.
And it's really good intel. Smoke's gonna break. Blizzy, you madman, making the jump onto Duster. But this leaves Lornoff in a bit of an awkward position. They've already gotten the kill onto the ET. Blizzy, Blink Dagger ready in 7 seconds. Black Hole is at the ready, but Bait currently fighting versus Lornoff.
Full Stone Gaze.
They do. So that means Blizzy is not gonna want to jump in here onto the Dusa.
But now he does. Now he does.
No, I think it's a bit...
They don't have vision. They could have done it if it was nighttime, right?
I think they've scouted the Weaver eggs, and they know that they can just save the Dusa from it.
Well, I don't know. It depends on how fast Deuce is moving, right? Because it might be you time-lapse her right into the same black hole.
True. Was it 6 seconds, right?
5.
Doesn't say. 5 seconds. Yep, good call.
Yeah. 5 seconds, which I think, depending on the black hole, you must just get time-lapse into the same hole. Deuce doesn't move.
That's true.
RTO.
That's usually why you draft the hero, even.
What?
That's usually why you draft the hero.
Yeah, because you need something like it's just stable, your stable tower.
Yeah, true, actually. You make a Dusa tower. Dendi getting chased, but...
It's just like your mom, you know she's always going to be there.
True.
Yeah, not going to move from wherever she was born.
Let's take a look here. I think this Dusa, she's going to want to be moving to crush Gambit in this series.
Yep.
First game for RDO didn't go too well, as now Gambit already starting to amass a bit of a net worth lead, 7-21, but the 12k net worth difference here really making the difference. And a Skull Basher now for our Bloodseeker. He's already got the Abyssal recipe in his backpack. And with this Aegis, a bit of a farming Aegis now that's going to expire. They could look for this last tier 2 down bottom and just about finish up this Abyssal. And then the game gets really, really scary for Bait.
Yeah, he's also going for the MKB himself, which I think is the best choice, by the way. You just saw Dusa starting to build MKB, so you're like, Butterfly is no longer a viable option. Just go MKB yourself, and that gives you the extra damage. You already kind of tank his Bloodseeker. The only difficulty in the tank wars that Bloodseeker against Dusa does is that Blood Rage will take you down, and the more HP you get, the more it takes you down.
And,
so it's counterproductive.
And the less you lifesteal as well, thanks to the Scotty now, if you get a kill onto someone.
Oh yeah, because you still have the level 15 talent. That's a yeah, the Thirst as well. Not necessarily lifesteal, but healing and Thirst.
Healing, yeah, healing.
Well, it does reduce your lifesteal at level 15 as well, which is a big deal, because Bloodseeker kind of depends on this level talent.
Especially to fight a Dusa?
Yeah, to fight a carry, you need that level 15 talent. That's why Shard is useful in the late game, because it gives you a little bit more.
Custer, yet again, he's baiting Nexus Vampire. Careful though. Blizzy's a bit too far away, so this is a free kill. Oh, is it a free kill even? No, he's gonna live. Shards are gonna isolate RDO. They could look to try and punish this as the stolen Rubik.
That black hole again.
They do. Blizzy's not too far. I mean, we've only seen one black hole, right? Shard
one
is
big one.
The Shard is useful. Oh, that's right. Shard is useful here to count with that frozen sigil, and they're just gonna keep them at bay. So no rupture. That's going to be the only big ulti used there. There's kind of a little bit of saber rattling. Gambit not really wanting to go up to the high ground into the Dusa with the Stone Gaze still active. That's the big difference, right? Last time we saw Gambit run up, they knew there was no Stone Gaze. This time around, they're very aware of it, as well as this Weaver Axe. That can really turn around the fight here. Entire game for Bait.
Yeah, they have a really good team fight this time, counter initiate. Why I like to save. Not a bad idea. I think that now it's going to the point of the game where you start to question, is Gambit still strong enough to beat Bait, you know, one-on-one, when you saw the Bloodseeker struggling to beat the... Like, this matchup is even worse than Ursa's. Because Ursa at least can burst the Dusa to some degree. Bloodseeker cannot. He has pseudo-burst damage. He has burst damage for the fact that he's so tanky, so it's like fair enough burst for 3.2k HP, but it's not the same burst as an Ursa or like...
Yep. Like this, TSH is going for the Ags, reduce the downtime here on the spell. Still going to be the main reason you get it. I mean, especially versus the Enigma, that's going to be a secondary way.
The cast range as well is nice.
The cast range is very nice as well. And of course, getting the Aghanims upgraded versions of a couple of spells. This game, Rupture.
The Enigma Ags is pretty decent.
Rupture is amazing.
Rupture's really good.
2 charges here. Void Spirit is not bad, actually. Big ol' silence.
No, I mean, usually you're not in the middle,
that's
so
true.
It's not great.
That's a good point.
But it's not a bad thing to take. But mainly, I think it's the Bloodseeker.
Yeah, Bloodseeker
and the Black Call, obviously. Because adding Midnight Pulse to it, which it does add it, even if you don't steal Midnight Pulse, it's pretty...
Yep, as long as Midnight Pulse is leveled.
Yeah,
which it is this game, of course.
It's very weird how that... It used to be for a while, actually, that you steal Eclipse.
Oh, yeah. Yep, very true.
So that was useless spell to... And they were like, actually, that's stupid. Why did we go to hero this?
Yeah, makes the Rubik unnecessarily.
The twins.
You should. I don't think you should be able to counter pick Rubik with weird strats like that. Because that's, you know, it's the whole point of the hero, right? He's this magus.
Only Purge should be able to do it. Like, if you pick a Rubik and you commit to not leveling a single spell and only your passives, like Purge in that one video, I think you should be allowed.
That's one of my favorite videos. They bait the... In case you haven't seen it, it's a really good one. It's quite old.
Very old, very old.
But
it's amazing.
Back when you could level stats, and that's the reason that it worked, right?
Yeah.
You had to level stats manually.
Purge was playing Enigma, actually.
Players was playing Enigma. I think they picked like 5. Like, they picked like RP. I don't know, like really fun ults to steal. Oh, team fight breaking out, though. Dendy having to pop the BKB. There's EXO. Rupture onto RDO. He's going to be in the middle. Arena's even better, though, out from Dendy. Luring up. I'm not sure if he wants to be here any longer, taking a lot of damage as well, as these are not connecting. These Aether Remnants. Blizzy, though, still having this black hole. Midnight Pulse now onto RDO, continuing to fight. It's controlling Dendy. Stone Gaze committed, though, into the Earth Splitter. They're going to be able to have to run away a little bit. Sexy Fat, he needs to use the ulti and will not be able to do so. The Stone Gaze connecting a little bit too late. Lowering off, no, becoming even nice, Blizzy. Black hole only catches 2, but it's good enough. Already killed his RDO. Still alive is Lauren up, and Sonny with all the thirst movement speed in the world, continuing to run them down. Dendy in trouble. He needs some help, but there ain't no one here to help him, Alvo. Gambit, they are going to get another team wipe after amazingly Blizzy gets another black hole.
I love the way Gambit is proposing these team fights. They keep going for the Dusa first with Rupture, which of course with Rupture she can't move around very often. I mean, not like she does in general. And then you proceed to just bait out the Stone Gaze, and you go, hey, Stone Gaze me, Stone Gaze me, Stone Gaze me. And then she Stone Gazes finally, and you just go, okay, bye.
See you later.
Just go and kill the rest of her team. They actually killed Weaver, which shouldn't have died there that easily. Weaver should have been much farther back. And because of that, they guarantee this easy kill on Dusa and this easy black hole. Like, Dusa cannot avoid the black hole. Nope. You are so... You're a snake, mate. Snakes are so slow.
Yep.
Except for the ones that go on trees.
Or the ones that swim in water.
Those are very fast, actually.
Yep, very scary. Yeah. They are very scary.
That was weird.
Donnie.
Take the Roshan stomp. Okay. Pretty good stomp.
Yeah.
There's no Earth Splitter, though. I don't know what they stole. It doesn't really matter because he's going to die immediately.
Blood Rage.
Blood Rage to ensure they take the Aegis, and that's going to be Xani taking this. Sexy Fat stuck in the shards. Those shards are amazing, by the way.
No.
You'll surf into the silence. There we go. Oh, they silence him, but he gets Shukuchi off beforehand. Doesn't really matter. What's faster, Shukuchi or Thirst?
That was a dieback. And yeah, it's Thirst, especially with the movement speed bonus that he has now at level 25. Oh no, Bait. It's 24k net worth lead now for Gambit. They've more kills in exchange for the one that Bait have gotten here. The all-important kill this game, though, is going to be the ones onto Dusa. She's got some serious damage here, Avo, though.
Yeah.
A Crystal is picked up, and no, I ain't talking the Creep Wave hard carry. I'm talking the item that used to be busted last patch, but is now a little bit more balanced. 32 damage with a 30% chance to crit off of the MKB as well. That's going to be real nice, but way too much right now for Bait. They're made out of paper at the end of the day here. It doesn't seem like the Dusa is really able to be this strong tank because Gambit, as you said, they're playing so well around that Stone Gaze.
Honestly, yeah, this is more to do with... I mean, yeah, you're limited because of your draft. Bait, that's still the case, but I'm not going to make this point again. But Gambit is playing this draft really well. And so they're turning what should be a consistent team fight and from Bait to just a really, really good play by Gambit. It looks more... I also absolutely love Lorenov's build, where he just went straight for BKB, tried to just survive the initial... And he's playing tank DP, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And he just initiates, like, going in. That's his initiation.
Yeah, I mean,
walk in.
Heaven's Halberd on a mid DP, not your everyday item, but honestly, I love it this game because you're exactly right. That's the role. They tank on the DP. They use a lot of spells there. They use the arena. They use, I don't know, not quite Stone Gaze, right? But they almost kill Lorenov. They get so close. And then after a lot of the utilities used, they just jump on the Dusa, force out the Stone Gaze, and then just eliminate the rest of her team.
Yeah, and that's all you need to do. And because you have so much mobility on the Tusk, Bloodseeker, Void Spirit, Nigma never shows, DP has EXO already done, it's very difficult for Stone Gaze to be too impactful. Because, yeah, they added the extra movement speed to her. What are you going to do as Dusa? Run in front of the DP Bloodseeker? No.
Yeah, and big shout-outs to Aina there, who basically starts 1v1ing Dendi on the position 5 Tusk and is kind of beating him. That triggers then the Weaver to go over and try.
His ice shards have been incredible.
Yeah, they really have. Oh, TSA. Yeah, he's going to be caught. See you later. That's Axe now for our position
also,
4 XS Vampire. Yeah, he's doing a great job. It's felt really impactful. Dendi needs to pop the BKB. He's got the bulwark at the very least. Will be able to push one back, but Aina from behind with a Walrus Punch. Dendi trying to live, drops the arena. Oh no, time lapse. Not really doing too much work there. That's Sani beyond godlike. Snowball as well, dodging the Echo Stomp in return. Splizzy just showing up. By the way, you got to refresh your orb. 2 black holes coming your way pretty soon here, Bait, if you're not careful.
I love that in that little initiation, Sunny just said, what shield? They just kept hitting him in the front, even though he could move behind it, by the way. He doesn't care at all. He doesn't have Shard,
no,
which
you don't understand. He's really slow, especially with this 14% max Thirst move speed. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, they actually added the percentage.
Yeah, they've done that. After 7.0, it was like, do the math yourself. Actually, for the longest time, I was rewatching some replays the other day. It was the Ad Finum games, basically throughout their lower bracket run at Boston Major.
Oh, yeah.
And Dota has gotten so much nicer to watch. Like, it's incredible. Like, the 7.0 update was massive for the game.
The game is also 10,000.
Yeah. You used to be able, by the way, not to be able to see what people were queuing up, which was why it was so hyped that Madara actually went for the Divine Rapier instead of MKB. Yeah. That was such a... Because you couldn't tell. Now you can.
Great, by the way.
Which is great.
We appreciate that as analysts.
Oh, yeah.
They can see the intentions, and the more you can see the player's thought process, the more you can understand why. Now, a lot of people can just do. You know, you can talk with a bit of propriety as to what the players are thinking. tell more.
That is until replays are broken, because replays are still broken and you can't download it. But normally, yes, it's truly amazing.
AC is the choice for.
Yeah, and by the way, now we've got the plus 50 Eidolon damage, so these boys are now hitting for nearly 100 each before reductions. A lot.
So why AC over MKB here? I mean, the tankiness, I guess the extra armor is nice. Go for the armor down.
There is no butterfly on the Dusa. I agree. It's more damage,
but it's more damage. But she has MKB. She also has mix to go for the AC. But AC is a really good high ground item. I will say that. So if you're trying to go for the high ground, the AC is fantastic. And easier. So I think that's where the thought process lies for. Yeah, I'm already okay against Dusa. Black Hole already deals with it. I just need to be able to
say his dreams the Aghanim Scepter, but not really made any forward progress on that one for a while.
You can't leave the base, and
no,
all the farm has
can't.
to be given to Dendi. I mean, this is the definition of 4 Protect 1, right? Where your 4 heroes are below the enemy 4 support, right? And then your only farmed heroes is the carry.
Yeah, the issue in this lineup, again, is when the net worth difference is, you know, greater than 4K, greater than 6K, because then that's a whole item. There's not much you can do to counter that. As TSA is going to be allowed to live. Bloodright's not going to hit. They actually proc the same. By the way, on Access Vampire, he is so farmed.
I like the choice of the Aeon Disc. I would like the Aeon Disc as well for Lornoff, because he's kind of fulfilling that role of tanky DP. So why not go for Aeon Disc? And he's going for Octarine Core. Okay, fair. I don't mind the Octarine Core, but that's probably because you're winning by so much.
Yeah, 25% cooldown here on the Halberd is really nice. 5% or 5-second disarm. They're fighting without Lauren off here. Dendi, they find Blizzy. Can they capitalize on this? Look at the damage now with the Daedalus on the Blizzy. They're going to get the kill. Dendi as well has slept one. Down to the low ground goes Sani. That means he can't kill Dendi. Aina, not too far away, but Sani, you got a BKB before you can walk through that wall, my friend.
Dendi's dead though, so at least they did get a counter kill. Now go for RDO. They know there's no Stone Gate, so there's no Black Hole here. Rupture has been used. Exorcism as well. Bloodright to slow her down. Or sorry, to silence her. As Lornoff tanking as much as she can. And Lornoff alone is being the Medusa right now. Thanks to the Heaven's Halberd. Thank God for the time lapse, saving RDO's life. And now Gambit will proceed to retreat. No Black Hole, no need to fight this. They already forced 2 buybacks.
Telekinesis just shy there. Blinks and scares them away. Oh, that would have been so impactful. He was hoping to cancel the Blink Dagger, of course, with the Stolen Crypt Swarm, but you can see how impactful Lornoff is now. Look how fast this lady is, too, with the Ghosts. But yeah, Heaven's Halberd alone is so damn powerful versus that. All right, a moment of realization here for Gambit is we've hit yet again this magical 34 net worth advantage for them before Bait then decide, oh, right, we can kill that guy. He's out of position. So far, pretty good. I mean, with the Dusa, I want to say you're never really out of it, especially when you got this map item queued up, Avo.
That's the item that can bring you back into the game. And I think this game, it's not as bad as last one, like in the sense that you have a better core-to-core even in the late game, so you can at least win against Xani.
You are against 2 Black Holes, which is the scary part, of course.
Silence on TSA, again, TSA.
Yeah, catch Weaver. Rupture?
Oh, they ruptured him. Timeless doesn't help you against Rupture, though. Snowball, that's not the best choke points. Ice Shard doesn't really matter. Yeah, they use a Snowball for vision and kill him.
Bloodright gives you vision too, right?
Vision,
yeah, both.
So there's Ice
Either way, both, yeah.
Yeah, so TSA is incredibly dead. This gives you a lot of liberty for the Enigma and should allow you to take Roshan soon. Let's see how long it takes for it to spawn.
Yep, 10 additional seconds after this, up to 2 minutes. Obviously, Bait hoping for at least 1 minute, ideally more, so Dusa can continue farming any waves that trickle on in. We can see now Dendi, his net worth is not really going anywhere other than the passive gold he's getting. As Duster goes, you tried. Don't worry, Sexy Fat, you tried.
So how long is it for the...
Take a look. 1 minute. That's long enough for TSA to respawn at the very least.
That's the 3rd Roshan, right?
This is going to be 3rd Rosh. That is correct.
So that comes with Refresher Ags. Ags, not really that great. Let me give it to DP. Maybe Bloodseeker,
Maybe Bloodseeker is what I'm thinking too here.
It's fine. Refresher is what you want.
Honestly, I kind of like the thought of Walrus Kick as well this game into the Rupture, especially if you can kick the Dusa away and actually just kill the rest of her team.
That's pretty good actually with the Rupture. I didn't think of that.
That's the best way to actually counter or was one of the best ways to counter Fen. Of course, it's totally cost inefficient and you should just ban the hero instead, which is free rather than building a 4,200 gold item.
Or Tusk as well, which is not great against them in
at farming either, right? So, but it was really good because you could just kick away this Fen and then he's got to walk his ass all the way back into the team fight. Dusa, like we said,
TV
Snakes,
is the same thing.
Very slow. Yep, same sort of thing there. All right, well, RDO, he's closing in. 6K is what he needs. He's got his courier already hiding in the tree. guess specifically on the cliff. Waiting, right? Run to the secret shop, and there they goes. There's the move.
Okay. Little secret mission for the courier. He
Oh,
buys the
it's not
rapier,
it.
but he disassembles it to make sure that he can't die and drop the rapier.
True. Secret mission through the trees here ought to be successful.
It's gonna work out.
Yeah, they didn't scout it either, I believe. They've actually got a ward here watching around the secret shop, and there's the Divine Rapier picked up for
You
the
did it,
Dusa.
sir.
They're going to smoke up. 36k, 37k now,
Your only
42
chance
minutes
to-
in. RDO just casually Oh, he drops the rapier, spawns the illusion.
Oh, that's very fair.
Yeah, to not
That's a
reveal
great
it.
bait.
Oh, but that Access Vampire's going to break. Didn't scout. Oh, now they know the Dusa. The ward's there. The game's up. But Illusion Escape with Magistyle and Divine Rapier with the Daedalus. Yes, please. Roche is getting started, though, and it looks like bait.
What does it carry?
What does it carry?
Nice.
Ags.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Let's see who they give it to. Seems like DP?
Sonic.
Oh, Sonic.
Yeah.
Double Rupture. Fair enough. Do you have it against Weaver against Dusa? Why not? That's essentially eliminating sources of... The thing is, it's really only Dusa. I wouldn't even consider the rest of bait heroes, really.
Dendy's really nice for the arena, though.
Yeah, he has the arena is useful.
He zones out, well, zones out, I suppose, anyone without a BKB, because unfortunately Tusk and Void Spirit, the supports, can easily go through it. You've got the Blink Dagger for the Enigma. And
Tusk can carry someone with him.
yeah, true. Yeah, so it's not that impactful, but it's nice to have for emotional support.
I mean, if you're ever going to pull a game out of your hat,
Yeah, where are the fluffy hats, boys?
what are the fluffy hats? Can Dendy do them? More importantly, can RDL actually, because Dendy's useless.
Well, he's there for the assist, right? Medusa really wants to split
It's
shot
all
uses
about the
modifiers.
Dusa. Yeah.
I'm surprised we're not going either for any source of lifesteal here. Even just like a casual Morbid Mask. I mean, I guess you're disarmed all the time. What's the point, right?
Honestly, this game maybe 75 intel. To just last the black hole and just
Yeah,
boss it.
yeah.
And you become a Wraith King. It's just in a different way, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having 2 lives, you have one really long one. Which, by the way, as a human being, I think is better. Because turns out, you don't really come back after.
Alvaro just wants to be enough.
I would love to. Are you kidding me? What would you rather be, an undead or an elf? Clearly an elf. Live for 800 years, same body type. I can eat sweets all day, and I don't. My metabolism, like elf's metabolism, is incredible.
That lore, is that canon?
No, but you don't seem to get fat over the
That's
years.
true. That's true. You know?
Humans get a beer belly at 40. Elves don't get a beer belly at 700 years. That means that it's their metabolism, dude. It's
Something.
unfair.
All right, Dusa, currently probably going to save for the buyback here just in case, but pretty
I
soon
like the
gonna buy
Hurricane
out.
Plague choice. You need some sort of save for your...
Yeah.
I think DSA should be going for a 4-step at this point.
Yeah, turn the Staff of Wizardry. I mean, once again, he's made zero forward progress towards the Ags, unfortunately. Oh, there's the jump. Access Vampire. Locking down the Deuce is silence now. Potentially this is an
see the
opening, but
rapier.
look at the damage. Yeah, I mean, they've known about the Rapier since they walked up here.
Is that... did he go for the extra ghost? I think so.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, he did. Okay. Not
Good.
common. Usually go for the haste, but I think this game...
Hey, it helps you push along with the AC.
Yeah, look at this push.
Yep. -5 armor for the structures. Certainly helping a bit there. Sani, into the trees. Do so with the damage. The snowball, though, it's a save as Dendy at least trying to hold down a couple. Lornoff is slept. There's going to be the Stone Gaze. That could be a kill into Lornoff, but no, they didn't actually
Cheese.
prioritize there. Cheese was there.
Cheese.
Oh, my lord, the damage.
Yeah. Because of the Scotty, the cheese healed only like 40%.
Yep.
Which is not great. But he had to use it there no matter what, because otherwise he was going to die.
Healed for 60%, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
No, totally go to I mean, and...
40% less is what I meant.
And it's kind of... I mean, look how tanky this DP is. 3,500 HP.
Yep.
With the AC armor as well, up to 14. However,
The Bloodseeker's still leading in terms of net worth, but I don't think it matters at this point anymore.
oh, yeah, let me just
backpack.
switch to buyback here. That's the relevant part.
Yeah.
And there's the Hurricane Pike finished for the Dusa. Get those dirty boots out of here.
Okay, you know Deuce has no Stone Gaze, so it's your chance to just block in, right? You rupture her with one of your charges, and you black hole in as soon as you can. There's Link, no way to cancel the hole, and look, it's just going like, oh, I swear I'm alone, but they just saw the Stormcrafter hit a creep.
Yeah, they know that someone's there.
It's
probably
very
the Enigma.
obvious anyway, because why is DP pushing alone?
Oh,
they go
black hole
in, that's a
number
black
one.
hole for the Dusa. We have a second one as well, Arena Blood. They can't cancel Blizzard Black Hole. There's a second one. The second black hole will finish up RDO. Rapier on the ground. Dendy dies with him. None of them have buyback. It's GG.
It's GG, yeah. They even leave the Rapier. No, Sani's going to pick it up. Have they called it? Yep, there it is. RDO is going to call it. Unfortunately, Hurricane Pike didn't help him much there. And Sani gets to end his inventory. It gets to end the game, rather, and the series with a nice little Divine Rapier boost. 70k, the net worth difference after the Divine Rapier swing, and Gambit clean 2-0. Bait, they tried the same strategy twice in a row, but Gambit, they've done their research. They've seen a bait game, and they know what they like to run.
It's crazy to think that in a